It's time for the shop report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report. I'm Barbershop Jay. I'll be your host for the day. Here's what's happening. You had to excuse us. We were supposed to go live at 6, but unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties, things don't seem to always work out as they should. However, we are here. And of course, we are discussing Jigga's partnership with Roger Goodell and the NFL, and in our continuing coverage of the upcoming 2019 NFL season, the NFC South. Joining me on the show today is none other than my cat from the NYC, a.k.a. Rucker Park, Brother Rich. Brother Rich, what's happening?
All good, my dear brother, my friend. I'm always honored and humbled to be on this wonderful program with you.
I appreciate that. And Double J will be joining us here shortly. He, of course, tried to call in, but unfortunately it was during the technical difficulties that we were having. But we got none other as, or should I say, alongside Brother Rich. And when Double J gets here with us, my man D. Gully calling from Columbus. D. Gully, what's happening?
Everything's happening, brother. Glad to be a part of it once again, my man.
And, of course, now we just got my man Double J joining us. My man from up north, Joey James, a.k.a. Double J. Double J, tell the people what you say.
Got the green tea in me, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
It's all to the good. I just announced what we will be discussing today. Again, I want to apologize to all the listeners out there. You know, that's what it is, man, technology. You know, you can't bank on it. You can't count on it to work the way you want it to work all the time. But nonetheless, once again, we are here. All right. I know everybody has an opinion on what took place with the recent announcement of Jay-Z and his partnership, or his sit-down, should I say, with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell and his partnership that came from that meeting. That was about, 10 minutes ago or 10 minutes after the fact, it was announced that Jay-Z will be a potential owner of an NFL team. Now, it's a lot to throw at folks all at once because I still haven't had a chance to really sort it all out. But that's why we got our guest here today, my co-host, and, of course, my man D. Gully from Columbus, because they're going to help us. Y'all going to have to help me break this down. Now, y'all know I'm a sports junkie, okay? But I don't know it all. I don't. Keep your comments to yourself. So I'm going to need you all to help me to understand, man, just what is really taking place. Brother Richard, we're going to start with you, but what is really taking place with this whole thing? And before I even really get to, before, Brother Richard, before you really go into your diatribe, so to speak, and your breakdown, and Double J, you too as well, and Gully, you too as well, I, of course, want to read an article written by former ESPN host and then co-host of The Six, I believe it was, with Michael Smith, Jamel Hill, who writes for The Atlantic currently. She weighed in on the whole deal. Now, this is before the announcement that Jay-Z would be part owner of an NFL team. This is the announcement. This is when, he sat down and it was announced that he would be taking over for the halftime duties of the Super Bowl. That's where this all started from, right? So bear with me. The article is, I don't want to say too detailed or too lengthy, but it will, you got to give me a minute to get through it. But before we go into that, actually, if you're up and around, you're out and about, and you want to give us a shout, the number to call is area code 267-687-0026. That number again is area code 267-687-0026. And I wanted to remind everybody we're here with Brother Richard, Double J, and D. Gully. So let me read a piece of this article, right? The article is titled, bear with me, Jay-Z helped the NFL banish Colin Kaepernick. Now, before I get to reading the article, Brother Richard, let me ask you, do you agree with that headline?
Yes.
Double J, what about you?
Oh, absolutely.
And Gully, last but not least, what about you?
No, I don't agree.
Ah, okay, good. We'll get into that. Well, then let me ask you all before I start reading. Gully, since you don't, let me ask you briefly, tell us, why don't you agree with that headline?
Because it's not a correlation. It's actually the effect. I think Jay-Z articulated that pretty well. I'll be brief right now just to say it because I like to hear everybody else's opinion. But I don't think it's not binary. His action doesn't null and void or excuse or undermine Colin Kaepernick's action.
Okay, got you. We'll dive into that a little bit later after I get done reading this article. So here we go. And, of course, at this time, this was reported 5:45 a.m. Eastern Time. I don't know what day this was actually because actually it was the 15th, August 15th, 2019. This year is when I printed this out. But I don't know if this is the day that actually took place, so bear with me as I go through this. But it says yesterday, whatever that day is, of course, the hip-hop mogul Jay-Z and National Football League Commissioner Roger Goodell had a joint media session at the Roc Nation offices in New York to seal a once implausible partnership that isn't being received as positively as both parties probably hoped. Brother Rich, let me ask you something right quick before I go any farther. And this is just for you. Do you find that interesting that this media session was held at Roc Nation?
I do find it interesting, but we'll get into that, I guess, further along. I don't want to take too long.
Okay.
But certainly I find it interesting, but it only speaks into what I believe has happened here.
Okay.
I just believe that was an overcalculation, but this is what happened here. But, yes, I absolutely find it.
Okay, got you. Yeah, and gentlemen, as I read through this article, please take note on your own. If anything, when we get to actually breaking it down that you might want to throw in here and discuss, once we get to that the portion of discussion or whatnot. The article goes on. I assume neither Goodell, and this is Jamel Hill speaking, I assume neither Goodell nor Jay-Z expected to be on the defensive once the NFL announced that it would give Roc Nation, the music mogul's entertainment company, a significant power in choosing the performers for the league's signature events, including, of course, the coveted Super Bowl halftime show. Jay-Z and Roc Nation will also help augment the NFL's social injustice, that's what it seemed like, social justice initiatives by developing content, and spaces where players can speak about the issues that concern them. Now, let me go back right quick and say to myself, well, not say to myself, but let me just mention something right quick here. This thing isn't being received as positively as they both would hope. Double J, I'm going to ask you, how was this? How did they expect this to be received, do you think?
Well, in typical Jay-Z fashion, he wanted to swoop in and be the hero. Look at what I was able to accomplish. Got you.
Okay, now we'll continue. This wasn't just another routine example of Jay-Z living out a lyric he'd rapped nearly 15 years ago. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. Instead, the rapper faced questions yesterday about why he chose to collaborate with the same league that he'd publicly criticized for its treatment, of Colin Kaepernick. And we all know the story about Colin Kaepernick and so on and so forth. The quarterback, of course, who hasn't had an NFL job since taking a knee during the national anthem 3 years ago to protest police brutality and racial injustice. This is the same Jay-Z who showed support for Kaepernick by wearing his jersey on Saturday Night Live. On his mega hit song, I'm not going to pronounce the word, we all know, it was 8 squat. Jay-Z rapped this lyric. Once I said no to the Super Bowl. You need me, I don't need you. Every night we in the end zone. Tell the NFL we in stadiums too. And now he's in business with the league. He, of course, being Jay-Z. Now, what I found interesting, this is me, Barbershop Jay, of course, talking here. Kaepernick's girlfriend, Nessa Diab, if I'm saying that correctly, wrote on Twitter that Kaepernick didn't speak with Jay-Z before he brokered his deal with the NFL. Gully, let me ask you something right quick on that point before I go any further. Should he have contacted Kaepernick out of courtesy, or you don't feel like he needed to?
Well, maybe not beforehand. I think it would have been helpful, especially given the backlash, if he would have reached out to him. But he didn't really have to. If we're talking about the NFL being sort of emblematic of the same things that Colin Kaepernick protested, wouldn't it be helpful for them to, at some point, I mean, even if it looks very, very obvious, wouldn't it be helpful for them at some point to start reaching out? It's kind of like this. The way I see this is like this. We say the same thing about the Republican Party not reaching out for the black vote every election cycle. And then when they do, every black person that they reach out to is a coon or a Uncle Tom or so on and so forth. So what should the NFL's position be on matters like the ones that Colin Kaepernick protested when they finally acknowledged maybe we need to do something about this, and they partnered with a voice, not the voice, but a voice of black culture, a voice of the protest, a voice of the criticism about the issues that Colin Kaepernick protested. Like, what should they have done?
All right.
I don't think that in the end, I don't think Jay-Z really needed to give Kaepernick a courtesy call on that, because I thought he was in some way speaking on the issue's behalf, not Colin Kaepernick's behalf.
Okay. Well, at the time, Jay-Z said yesterday that he spoke to Kaepernick on Monday, but he wouldn't divulge how their conversation went. A source close to Kaepernick, speaking on the condition of anonymity, which I don't like. If you're going to say something, then put your name on it, is my thing, because of the sensitivity of the topic, which is irrelevant, told me it was not a good conversation. So apparently Jay-Z did have some sort of conversation. He didn't call him first, but he did have some conversation with Kaepernick, and they saying this source, whoever that source is, said that the conversation did not end well. But, once they got in this meeting or whatnot, it was said that we don't want people to come in and necessarily agree with us. I guess this is Roger Goodell talking. We want people to come in and tell us what we can do better, Goodell said at the press conference. I think that's a core element of our relationship between the two organizations and with Jay and I personally. The financial arrangements have not been made public. I find that interesting as well. But whatever the numbers, the NFL's new partnership with Jay-Z is a huge win for the league. Ditto. Some of the biggest celebrities in the world have voiced their support of Kaepernick, saying they would boycott the NFL until Kaepernick is back in the league. Now that the NFL...
Hey, barbershop. I just got to allow me real briefly to interject. Like you said in the article, the financial arrangements have not been made public between the NFL's partnership with Jay-Z. The settlement between Eric Reid and Colin Kaepernick and the NFL has not been made public either. I think it's important to also be balanced on that regard.
Okay. Now that the NFL has Jay-Z's blessing, it's conceivable that some of those entertainers who distanced themselves from the NFL might change their mind. I don't think so, but we'll see. Jay-Z has given the NFL exactly what it wanted: guilt-free access to black audiences, culture, entertainers, and influencers. I find that part interesting as well. NFL officials must have been bothered by how much Kaepernick was discussed during Super Bowl week earlier this year. Not only did Goodell have to answer more questions about why Kaepernick still isn't receiving any interest from NFL teams, but there had also been a number of reports that the league was having a hard time finding performers for its halftime show. Some stars, including Rihanna and Cardi B, reportedly turned down the opportunity to appear at the event show out of allegiance to Kaepernick. Other celebrities, such as the comedian Amy Schumer, publicly pressured the Maroon 5 singer Adam Levine to pull out of his performance. And the Reverend Al Sharpton, the civil rights leader we all know, blasted the rapper Travis Scott, who performed with Levine. You can't fight against Jim Crow and then go sit in the back of the bus, Sharpton told TMZ. And I find that interesting. He would even say anything. Do he still got his weave? My bad. Anyway, ironically, one of the people who also advised Scott not to perform at the Super Bowl was Jay-Z. Yesterday, the Rock Nation founder said he told Scott he shouldn't perform at the Super Bowl because he would be playing second fiddle, quote unquote, to Maroon 5. It had nothing to do with Kaepernick. Clearly, Jay-Z's support of Kaepernick only went so far. Regardless, why would Jay-Z waste any of his enormous social and cultural capital on the NFL when he doesn't need the league's platform, money, resources, or validation? And I'm going to stop right there just for a second. Capitalism. I get it. That's what America was built on, right? But here's the deal with capitalism, in my opinion. At some point, it lends itself to being greedy. And to a man walking this earth, in this country and every other country in the world, when you get greedy, things don't work out. Let me continue. I get that Jay-Z might see this as an opportunity for artists to connect with the NFL's immense audience. He could also offer some incredible insight and direction to the league on the social justice front, since he's been actively engaged in such work for a long time. I also understand that to become hip-hop's first billionaire, Jay-Z didn't always have the luxury of avoiding relationships and partnerships with people he disagreed with or disliked. But in this case, Jay-Z isn't getting enough out of the deal to justify the sacrifice of some of his credibility. This alliance plays right into the NFL's hands because the league seems determined to banish any memory of Kaepernick with its recent social justice efforts. Even though it's likely that Jay-Z and the NFL wouldn't even be entering into this arrangement if Kaepernick hadn't taken a knee in 2016. It's easy to see why Kaepernick would be upset now. The partnership with Jay-Z is part of the NFL's larger strategy to continue to absolve itself of what happened to the quarterback and throw enough money at social justice causes so that the players will no longer feel the need to protest or, at the very least, keep their opinions about racial injustice far away from the football field. Last year, the New York Times obtained audio of the 3-hour meeting that took place among owners, players, and executives in October 2017. During the pinnacle of the protest drama, the late Houston, Texas owner Bob McNair told the players who were present at the meeting, you fellas need to ask your compadres, fellas, stop that other business. Let's go out and do something that really produces positive results, and we'll help you. By leaving Kaepernick completely out of the mix, Jay-Z is now complicit in helping the NFL execute its strategy. Now he is an accomplice in the league's hypocrisy. I think that we forget that Collins' whole thing was to bring attention to social injustice, correct? Jay-Z said during the press conference. So, in that case, this is a success. This is the next thing. Because there's two parts of protesting. You go outside and you protest, and then the company or the individual say, I hear you. What do we do next? So for me, it was like actionable item. What are we going to do with it? Everyone heard and we hear what you're saying, and everybody knows I agree with what you're saying. So what are we going to do? So we should, millions of people, and all we get stuck on is Colin not having a job. I think we're past kneeling. I think it's time for action. Do you all agree with that last portion? Yes or no?
Yeah, I agree with it.
Brother Rich?
I absolutely agree with it.
Double J?
Without a doubt.
Okay. It doesn't matter whom the NFL partners with or how much money it pours into social justice causes. The league's actions come off as disingenuous because Kaepernick remains unemployed as a result of a peaceful protest. How can the NFL be taken seriously as a social justice champion when it blackballed a player who stood up for equality? She goes on to say, and I'm getting towards the end here, fellas, so bear with me. I don't question Jay-Z's commitment to social justice or his desire to empower African Americans. He has consistently used his platform to have critical conversations and bring awareness to the inequalities and injustices that black people regularly face on a day-to-day basis. That's me saying that. Jay-Z brilliantly put into perspective how the war on drugs disproportionately hurt blacks and Latinos. He executive produced a riveting 6-part documentary series on the slain teen Trayvon Martin that aired on BET last summer. He also produced a miniseries on Khalif Browder, who was falsely imprisoned at New York Rikers Island for 3 years, starting when he was 16 years old for allegedly stealing a backpack. Browder, we all know, unfortunately, died by suicide a year after he was released. Jay-Z's foundation has funded countless initiatives related to education and professional development. He has also donated millions to so many causes that he is one of the most important humanitarians in the world. And Jamel says, I don't believe Jay-Z is a sellout because his track record proves otherwise, but it does seem like he's being used as a cover. Or at best, a buffer. The league can point to its partnership with Jay-Z whenever anyone brings up the fact that several of its owners are Trump supporters. As Kaepernick's best friend, the Carolina Panthers safety Eric Reed pointed out on Twitter, the announcement of this partnership helped move the news cycle past last week's controversy involving the Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross. And I don't know how many of you all are familiar with that out there, but if you're not, you should get familiar with what happened with Dolphins owner Stephen Ross. But anyway, the Miami wide receiver Kenny Stills criticized Ross for holding a fundraiser for Trump last week. Stills, who continued to kneel during the national anthem last season, called out Ross for his hypocrisy. The Dolphins owner also serves as a co-founder of RISE, the Ross Initiative for Sports and Equality, whose mission is to create leadership programs and workshops to address racism, inequality, and prejudice, which Trump keeps making worse. As evidenced by Ross and the New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft, NFL owners are quite comfortable playing Robin Hood in one world and Gordon Gekko in another. Fortunately for Ross and other owners, Jay-Z gave the NFL what it wanted, a blank slate. Jay-Z is an iconic figure, and it would be a shame if this partnership changed how people think of him. But I have also learned this about the NFL. Football is the NFL's primary business, but chess is the game it plays best. So, there it is, in a nutshell. Double J, I'll start with you. Brother Rich, I'm coming to you for a minute because I know you know most of these folks personally. So, when it's your time, I want to give you the floor and let you go ahead and have at it. So, I'll get Double J's and D Gully's thoughts on this, and then we'll come to you. So, Double J, I know it was a lot to read there, but in summation, what do you take from it?
Well, I think it's a brilliant idea by the NFL. Who can step in front and make the kneeling and all of the events and attention, negative attention, go away? Who's a big enough influencer that wants to have skin in the game and not just make another business move? Who's attempted in years past to be a majority owner of other sports franchises, and who has a music streaming service that's bleeding money? That's Jay-Z. The one man that, as you stated in numerous times throughout the article, who's been able to sway the masses using nothing but words. And if you're the NFL, that's the one person that you can say, if you want to be an owner, we can make that happen. Sure, from a capital perspective, he's in that realm. But we understand that's a good old boys network. And as I don't always agree with Stephen A. Smith or any of those guys. However, they're pointing out that, and even Jay-Z himself quoted, that this was never about cap and kneeling. It was about injustice and getting it correct, or social justice, rather. And but he questioned at the end of that statement, how do we go about doing that? Which indicates to me that you don't really have a plan. quite yet. Additionally, when you look at how the conversation with Kaepernick, if it took place, and of course it was confirmed it took place, but it took place well after an agreement was already in place between Jay-Z and the NFL. So do not be surprised if, I can't tell you if the Rooneys are going to sell the Giants or if somebody's going to sell the Jets, whoever it may be, but Jay-Z is likely to be an owner of the NFL, of an NFL franchise within the next 5 years. And I say that in a majority sense. He will be the majority owner of the team. Maybe not the sole proprietor, but this was the first step. You do this for us, and we will do this for you. And again, as you stated in that article, this is a game of chess that the NFL is playing, and they played it brilliantly. Because you know who everyone's mad at? Jay-Z. They're not mad at the league. If anything, we're applauding the league. We can see it right in front of us. You played this man. He won. The league won. We'll see if the justice takes a turn for the right, for the better, hopefully.
All right. That's fair. The number to call if you're up and about, you want to give us a shout, is area code 267-687-0026. That number again is area code 267-687-0026. Gully, you got the floor.
Well, I know you wanted to give it to me first, but I really want to hear what Brother Richard has to say about it, because I think my position might be kind of clear, and I really, really am interested in seeing what he had to say about it.
Well, Brother,
if you don't mind,
Brother Rich, we got a 3-hour. Got a 3-hour program.
But here's the issue. Here's I want to be fair to everyone. Certainly, all the listeners and all of the co-hosts at the table. And Gully, I really did want to hear what you had to say, because I was interested in your position from the opposite end of the table. Before, I think we anticipate where I might be going with my element of the conversation, but I'm very curious, if you would allow us, to hear your vantage point, the conservative point of view from your vantage, because I've had several conversations. I would like to hear you express in a national conversation at this table what your vantage point is. So in my rebuttal, if you will, I can kind of pick up all the elements, including, I was very interested in what Double J said, certainly the article that he read, and I would just like to kind of deal with all of that at one time, if you would allow me.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay, that's
why
no
I set it up like that. I set it up because I wanted Double J to have his say, and then you, because again, Brother Rich, he knows these folks personally, so I wanted him to have the kind of like the last say, so to speak. And then I got to say as well. I know y'all don't want to hear what I got to say. That's why y'all never answer my calls. But anyway, if you will, Gully, again, the floor is yours.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to try to keep, there's so much to unpack with it, and I want to make sure, please, I know you guys will catch me if I start going off the rails a bit, but it's so much to unpack about this.
No, I'll catch you. I'll mute you. I'll hit the mute button for sure, or the bell, either
fine.
one.
Okay. I'm cautiously optimistic about the idea of the partnership. I get kind of confused because of I get kind of confused in what the message is supposed to be, based on the way that certain athletes in the league, NFL players, are protesting Jay-Z working with the NFL. I get kind of confused about what the message was supposed to be when they're rejecting or they're suspect of Jay-Z's intention with aligning to try to bring more cultural relevance, if you will, to the league, more cultural sensitivity, if you will, to the NFL, which, if I understand correctly, wasn't the problem. I'm not certain. I'm getting kind of confused. That's why I say it with a question, because I'm getting kind of confused because of the types of interactions. Basically, to make it plain, I wanted to try to avoid from making a hyperbolic argument or making a base level argument. We've got athletes in the NFL protesting Jay-Z's working with partnership with the NFL while they are still NFL players themselves. That's why I asked you earlier. That's why I hinted that I think it's worth noting. We don't know what that amount is that Jay-Z and that Rock Nation and the NFL are into. We also don't know what the settlement offer that was made and accepted by Eric Reed and Colin Kaepernick. You have to be fair. I'm not understanding how a move to be more culturally sensitive to black players specifically, especially by partnering with a person who has been very vocal about the issue of injustice for black America, how it's seen as a chess move, how it's reduced to that. I'm not understanding, especially again, when I hear the way in which people are protesting. We're not staying away from the NFL. Everybody's buying season tickets. A lot of people in Cleveland feel very, very passionately about what Colin Kaepernick are doing. They're buying Odell Beckham jerseys, and they want the Browns to go to the playoffs, and they're going to be there for game one. I'm not understanding where I don't see the hypocrisy in Jay-Z. I kind of see the contradiction in the fan base that are finding the move critical.
Okay. That's a very good point. Now, let me weigh in right quick, Brother Rich, before you say. To me, this whole thing looks like a divide and rule, or your typical divide and conquer. And the definition of gaining and maintaining power by breaking up larger concentrations of power into pieces that individually have less power than the one implementing the strategy. Simply put, like I said, a classic case of divide and conquer. Because at the end of the day, how did the conversation about police brutality and injustice against black and brown or minority folk turn into this? Who's really winning? Huh? Because at the end of the day, folk have to be more like the shepherd and less like the sheep. Brother Richard, have your say.
Well, I think that before I say anything, I want to first say that I respect and love and tremendously admire Jay-Z. I have been a fan of Jay-Z for a long time, like so many millions and probably billions of people. I'm a Jay-Z fan. I have always felt that Jay has never used, except on 444, he's never used his incredible talent to do some of what he could do and talk about some of what he could talk about in his early years, because he talked about so much materialism and the things that kind of was detrimental to the community. So nevertheless, I thought it was important to just say that. Now, having said that, I want to take a little bit of what everybody said, and I'll start with what Double J said. And I thought that it's interesting that every comment Double J referenced with respect to this rightly pointed to this as a chess move that is maneuvered not by Jay-Z. Jay-Z is not the person maneuvering this. And it's clear Double J made every reference from the vantage point of the NFL.
He sure did.
Now, I thought it was interesting that Gully pointed out that Jay-Z being involved with entertainment. Let's look at that. How does Jay-Z being involved in entertainment address what Colin Kaepernick, let's go to Colin Kaepernick's words. He said, I'm doing this because I look on television and I see black children being gunned down and nobody's going to jail, nobody's doing anything about this, and this is my silent way of saying we need to pay attention to this. This is a problem. Now, Jay-Z is absolutely correct in saying we're past kneeling, but here's the issue. Gully. Here's the issue why he should have called Kaepernick. I don't know if you're married or if you got a girlfriend, but if you're having an argument with your girlfriend or your wife in your house, and you step out, and the neighbor who knows you and he's supposed to be your friend, he say, I'm with you, brother. But every time you leave out, he in your house talking to your wife about you and your problem, trying to resolve the problem between him and your wife, but not you and your wife. So the football players are saying, what the hell does Jay-Z have to do with playing football? Jay-Z never played no football. He's not dealing with the racism. He's not dealing with the antagonism of fans and owners who are referring to these brothers and the president calling them sons of you-know-what and telling them to get up and get your kneel and this is my house. He's not dealing with that. So he's out of line to just step them aside and not even go to Colin Kaepernick and say, look, I got a potential to make a deal with the NFL. They call me, and what you think? I would like to go sit down, and I might go sit down even if we disagree. You should have at least done that much. That's why the issue here.
That's why I said courtesy.
Sir?
That's why I said courtesy. Should have given him courtesy.
Yeah, so assuming he did, okay, because like per the article, the conversation wasn't good after the fact, because it seems like it took place after the fact. But assuming it happened before the fact, and it still was a bad look. I get what you guys are saying. I think hindsight is 20/20. If he had given the courtesy of calling Kaepernick first, and the conversation went as bad as it inevitably did, and still proceeded to make the deal, we still would have been just as critical of Jay-Z. So I think it's inconsequential.
We would not have.
Hold on, Brother Richard. Hold your thought. Hold your thought, Brother Rich. Gully, here's what he's saying. Regardless of the choice I make after the courtesy call, I'm giving you the courtesy just on GP because it don't. Because I'm a grown man, you a grown man, but it doesn't. It removes all doubt, so to speak, or it removes all of the. Well, Dad, he couldn't call me. You know what I'm saying? It just don't. It doesn't look right. At the end of the day.
All right.
You feel what I'm saying? I'm just
okay. So I see what you mean.
Jay-Z's bargaining chip with the NFL. He's not able to bargain with the NFL. It's what Double J told us. He's not bargaining with the NFL on his own. The chip he has, the only thing he's bringing to the table is that he has some influence over a culture that's moving the world. He's the most influential individual in hip-hop culture, in entertainment. He's that kind of figure in hip-hop. That's what he has on the table. So if you're going to put that chip on the table, you're not representing yourself. You should at least you were wearing that man's jersey saying you down with what he's doing. So if you're going to argue if you're sitting to make a deal with the people he's dealing with that we know are blackballing him out of the league, at least sit with him and say, look, Colin, this is what I'm about to do. I don't care what you think, but I'm telling you this in private that, look, these people call me. I got a chance to make some money. I'm still with you. Look, and actually, this is what I'm doing. Let me get a team, and then once I get a team, I'm going to hire you. I'll make sure you get hired on.
Yeah.
No such conversation happened. Nothing. We're being told now. We didn't ask to be told this. Colin Kaepernick has nodded that he wasn't informed. All the football players were saying none of them were informed. His girlfriend was saying, in fact, Colin Kaepernick, and they were not informed. That's all we're saying, because this is not an entertainment issue. He has gone into the house of Colin Kaepernick and all these football players. This is why I use the analogy of an individual's household. This is not just a neighborhood. I went on the neighborhood selling CDs. No. You went in the man's household. You went up in the people where he got problems with these people, and you going behind the door making a deal, and you think this is okay. No, this is not okay. And this is why the people in the neighborhood who are looking upon what happened now are saying this is wrong.
Brother Rich,
behind that man's back and made it, sir.
Yes, hold that thought, because you just said something. Let me throw these two words out here: etiquette and principle. Those two things don't matter no more, Gully.
Right.
Etiquette and principles.
The last thing I want to say.
Right. Etiquette and principles say, I'm going to call you. Even if I'm going to still do it, I'm still going to reach out to you. I'm wearing your jersey for goodness sake. You thought enough of me to do that? You see what I'm saying? Etiquette and principle. Just on etiquette and principle alone, I'm giving you a call. But in that call, I'm going to let you know, because I'm my own man, hey, I'm still going to go through with this. Because I see something maybe, and there's a reason, and another reason for the call, because you may not see something in it that I see. That's why we bump heads. So you can say, oh, okay. That's why they say two heads are better than one, so to speak. I'm calling you on GP. Even though I'm still going to do the move, I'm just letting you know, based on etiquette and principle, this is what I'm about to do. You my man. Dap up and roll out.
I want to add this to it. say this for everybody to consider. Consider this, and I mentioned this to a friend of mine recently. I believe the picture here is much broader than any of us can imagine, and here's why
I think so too.
The NFL. I'll put one person's name on the table who attempted to buy an NFL team, who we know about publicly, who was turned down, and that's Magic Johnson, who is a noted businessman in the Los Angeles community, an NBA legend. He tried to get in the NFL and was bumped out, wasn't allowed in. The NFL is notorious for their vetting position. The kind of monetary restrictions they put on the ownership, the individual owner who's going to be the face of the franchise, they're notorious for their vetting process. So we know that for them to even announce that Jay-Z is going to be a minority stakeholder in an NFL franchise means he's already been vetted. And I would suggest to this audience and to all of us who are participating at this table that Jay-Z is being vetted for something very far bigger than just an NFL ownership or some deal on entertainment, that Jay-Z is being vetted for president, that Jay-Z is being vetted by those who vet those kinds of people who are these billionaires and these elite individuals who craft leaders for us, and Jay-Z is being allowed further into, and he should be careful about being brought into a group of people whom we have to wonder what is their motivation, and do they really use this young man and his gifts and talents for positive, or ultimately are they using him for some greater agenda that we and perhaps he doesn't even see? Because this is chess, not checkers.
And you know what? Let me add to that. I was just getting ready to say that. At the same time, I want everybody to take a look at the timeline, okay? 1 minute, it's being announced that Jay-Z is going to be the overseer, if you would, for lack of a better word or term, of the Super Bowl halftime show. When 2 minutes before that, everybody was like, bump the NFL. They racist or whatever. 30 seconds after that, going forward after them 2 minutes, and then that 1 minute and 10 minutes, and 3, whatever, all of a sudden it's being announced that you about to be part owner of an NFL team. Look at the timeline, man. Y'all don't see that? Because after the announcement that he was going to be in charge of the Super Bowl entertainment, whatever it is, and then immediately, because of Twitter and social media, the backlash was immediate. And before I could even put my phone down, he about to be part owner? I'm telling you what I see from my vantage point, having experienced things that a lot of folk who speaking on it don't understand how deep this thing goes. Man, I'm telling you, and y'all know me because you know me personally, and we've talked about this off air, but I've been in situations, man, where I've seen all walks of life and personalities that y'all couldn't even fathom. I'm smelling an agenda that goes beyond the manifest that's being pushed here. And they're using him to do it. That's what I see. Do I like the NFL? Yeah.
What is that agenda?
It's we ain't got that kind. We only got 3 hours. We ain't got that kind of time. It's not, that ain't something I couldn't sum that up. But I'll holler at you. When we talk on the phone. Because, again, it ain't that I'm afraid to say it or know nothing like that or whatever the case may be. But you know me, I'm detailed. And believe me, I'm telling you right now. But then that's, I said that. Let me clarify or add clarity now. That's me, based on my life's experiences, and then seeing how certain folk work and when they in certain circles and so on and so forth. I'm telling you what it looked like to me. Now, if that ain't it, then so be it. But that's what it looked like to me based on the travels that my walk in life up to this point. You see what I'm saying? That's what it looked like to me. Brother Rich, were you finished, or how you want to add to that?
Well, in a nutshell, I'm trying not to monopolize the time because I'm very interested in this conversation with everyone. Because as you know, and we all agree, it's the number one thing in most circles, around most water coolers. People, no matter what walk of life, and I think pointing back to what Double J was saying, the NFL won this round because everybody's pointing at Jay-Z, and you made a point that this was classic and has been a classic example of divide and conquer, which I want to point out again is and was the issue with this now. The issue I said that we all know and concede that Jay-Z has always been a capitalist. He was always clear about that in his language.
Right.
His linguistics is, I'm a capitalist. I'm here to get money. I don't care about that. I got a nice car. I got the prettiest wife. I got the biggest house. I'm richer than all of y'all. Y'all are poor to me. I wear this kind of jewelry. He's been saying that from day one. So we understood that he comes with a capitalistic bent. The other element of that conversation was, though, that when you get involved in social justice conversation, you're not no social justice leader of all people, all the black community, where you now say, oh, kneeling is finished. Wait a minute. Did you have a conversation with the people that were kneeling about why they were kneeling? Because remember, when Gully mentioned that about to us, what's the end point? I think the end point was the NFL was to, as Colin Kaepernick asked them, use your tremendous influence to bring police departments and bring judges and bring the courts to the table to say, look, we got to do something about this. Bring these police unions to the table to say that, look, we got to fire these police officers. And when they get fired, how will we pass kneeling when a man just got fired 5 years after choking a man to death on video, which we now know he's been fired for? Now the police union is all upset saying this is wrong. That's what we're saying. Use your power for that. Don't tell me we're just past kneeling. Yeah, we know we're past kneeling. But the answer is not for you to get an NFL team. What the heck does that have to do with the black community that one person got an NFL team? This is nonsense and classic divide and conquer. Come here, big boy. Let me give you something, and you go tell that other Negro, stay in your place, and I'll give you a bigger piece of chicken, and you'll be okay. Okay, yes, sir, boss. Look, I talked to the boss, and he said that if everybody's good, this is what we have here. Yeah. Somebody tells me,
Brother Richard,
hold on. Let him. Hey, let him finish his thought. Go ahead, and then you go ahead and wait.
This is all we have here. Roger Goodell. I didn't see the press conference except on YouTube. Roger Goodell was able to point to Jay-Z and talk about Jay-Z as though he got some relationship with Jay-Z and they've had this relationship with Jay. Does Roger Goodell look like the person that ride around the city listening to Jay-Z's music? And if he does he relate to Jay-Z's music? He relate to drug dealing and ghetto life. And I'm not saying that he can't appreciate Jay-Z, but I'm saying you're talking about, you understand what Jay-Z is talking about, but you got a man out the league. How are we past kneeling when Colin Kaepernick is out the league? Not because he talked about police brutality, because he knelt to bring attention to police brutality. How are we past kneeling when just last year the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, said, this is my house, and in my house we kneel for the national. In other words, this is my plantation, and all my Negroes kneel on me. We know that the owner of the Houston Texans got in trouble for the way he talked to his players, in essence, telling them he owned them, and y'all gonna do what the heck I tell y'all to do. Yeah. How we past kneeling, man? Yeah. We're not past kneeling. Yes, we're past it in the sense that we should be doing more than kneeling. We have to be past it in that, man, if we're still kneeling and these people haven't heard us, we need to get up off our knees and get some collective unity and say, look, we're gonna do some other stuff now. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, we are, but we ain't. You get what I'm trying to say? And let me throw this in too, then Gully, you can weigh in. And you know, I'm addressing most of the fans here. Don't get it twisted. Hey, I get it. You like Jay-Z's music. I like Jay-Z's music too. You understand what I'm saying? But that cannot, you using that to turn a blind eye to truth? You can't do that. You can like a guy, but don't lie. I'm tell you something, man. I've said it before on the show and in person. Something my mother said to me. She said, look, you my firstborn. I love you. But I love my creator more. I'm not going to take up for you and say you wrong or you right when you wrong. If you wrong, what's right is right and what's wrong got to be addressed. Now, tell me what that got to do with whose name you are, what your relationship to me is, or whether or not I think you cool. Oh, because we cool like that or whatever, I'm going to let you slide. I'm going to, I own a corner store, I'm going to let you take a couple. Nah, man. No, it don't work like that. And I don't know where this premise came from and it's based on that's how he's supposed to go. No, this ain't no unwritten rule, man. If you dead wrong, I'm going to stand next to you, but you got to deal with the consequentiaries. You under dig? Go ahead, Gully. How you say?
The concurrent argument, probably the smaller of the arguments about the NFL as it relates to the culture and as it relates to the culture, is the fact that you got the issue of police injustice, right? And what Colin Kaepernick, by kneeling, what he was trying to call attention to. You also have concurrently the issue of sports in general being largely, especially in the NFL, being largely constituted by minority athletes, but as Pusha T would say, the complexions change, the complexions fade as the ladder goes up. Okay? If Colin Kaepernick was talking about it, he was raising awareness to injustice, and concurrently, we still had an issue of not having representation by the same minorities that we want to sacrifice their lives, sacrifice their bodies for our entertainment. Why wouldn't Jay-Z's path to ownership be representative of a level, albeit a minor, a level of change, a level of inclusion that we've all been talking about for years that needed to happen?
Okay, so
I'm not understanding
how this
circumvents, how this is a veil.
Okay, so listen. You're right. We having.
Can I ask you a question?
Hold your
Go ahead.
Hold your thought, brother.
Answer your own question. Answer your own question for us. You tell us then. How does Jay-Z owning a NFL team answer Colin Kaepernick's initial question? Because that's what we're talking about now. We're not talking about outside interest and that we should own. What we're talking about is this question that our moderator asked us was with respect to the column he read with respect to Colin Kaepernick and Jay-Z and what happened with them in this NFL issue about kneeling and Jay-Z coming in to take. Here's the issue. How does Jay-Z now come in and say, okay, look, we're going to fix this. This is how we're going to fix it. Y'all let me own a team. How does that fix the issue that we're talking about?
Hold on.
Well, tell me what's fixed by Jay-Z owning an NFL team.
Hold on. Hold that thought. If you're up and around, you're out and about, and you want to give us a shout, the number to call is area code 267-687-0026. Once again, the number is area code 267-687-0026. Double J, are you still with us? I know.
Of course.
Okay, I'm just saying. I know. Double J, you like me lightweight, huh? You're a passenger on this one, huh? But you know, and before you answer his question, Gully, what I'm saying is there's a manifest function to things and there's a latent. Okay. We got one, quote unquote, in the room finally. Yay! Sitting at the table. Yay! But if you ain't eating what they eating, or if I ain't eating what you eating, what good is it that I'm in the room? It's for show and tell? Because look, and I'm going to go all the way back for a minute here. I don't know what month it was this year or whatever it is, because I really wasn't hip to it until I seen it this year. I had seen it before a time or two, I ain't going to lie, but I really didn't get off into this whole thing about, and we talked about this on a previous show, Juneteenth. Folks was clamoring all over Facebook and social media about the Emancipation Proclamation and when Abraham Lincoln signed it and everybody was free. Well, if that in and of itself were true, then there wouldn't have been no such thing as the Little Rock Nine. Then we wouldn't be having this discussion that we having today. If what he said or what he signed that day was what it's supposed to be. See what I'm saying? Don't come at me with no tokenity. That's my word or term. Come on, man. Don't put no powdered sugar on a pile of dog crap and try to tell me it's a funnel cake. When I see flies taking off and landing. Don't patronize me. That's what this looked like to me, man. What you patronizing me for? Huh? You want to put me at a seat? See what I'm saying? Rubbing elbows and all of that? Then give me the same opportunity. That's what I'm saying.
So it starts with one. Okay.
But is the playing field level?
Then with one, hold on, now I'm gonna answer because it's you and Brother Richard's point. You asked, how does Jay-Z become an owner correlate, answer the question, or address the issues that Colin Kaepernick, by kneeling, was trying to raise awareness for? Well, you have an owner who's a minority. First of would inevitably the first minority or majority owner of an NFL football team that's African, that's not Anglo-Saxon white in the NFL's history, in the NFL's 100-year history, as a matter of fact, 100-year history, right? He, by that position, just like by President Obama becoming the first black president, had to be one, it's the responsibility that we expect through that capacity to get done. So him being an owner is not the end game. Him being owner doesn't simply address what Colin Kaepernick was trying to raise awareness to, but through his proxy of ownership, we expect things to look different. For example, if players have grievances about things going on, I would anticipate, based on Jay-Z's partnership with the NFL and what it's supposed to be and what he said it should be, I would expect they would have more ease to come to their ownership to see what they can do in their capacity as NFL players to address the things that they're concerned about.
But it's not enough. But it's not enough. But it's not enough to be labeled as such. You know what?
Why ain't it? Because it has to be one. It has to start somewhere.
Okay,
it's
listen.
Like, look,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Yes, we did, and I'm going back to what I said when we had this conversation in private. Yes, yay. Okay, so you put out in public. Here's what we did, but you really want to make some. You want to make some noise. Make me an owner and give me the same delegatory options that every other owner got right out the gate.
Why won't he? Because he's an owner. You expect. All right, here's the thing.
First of all, it's got to happen.
That him becoming an owner, you anticipate that him becoming an owner somehow or another, given the circles that he has to travel to get through areas that we ain't been. I mean, you Brother Rich, you talked about the content on his last few albums. It seemed to be more or less superficial, right? But on the surface, but if you think about it, especially in 444, what he was talking about using all of these terms and talking about these items and whatever else, stuff that we ain't really privy to, how he turned them into assets. We assume that he's going to be somehow outsmarted, knowing he's going into an area that we haven't traditionally been. You assume he's going to be outsmarted and be turned into a token, when he obviously know that's the end game for people that don't want him there. Just like we assumed that for every area that we've broken ground, that the person that broke ground is going to somehow be turned into a token. Well, if it does happen sacrificially, the legacy behind them is going to be smarter than that.
I'm saying this.
Go ahead.
If you're going to make the announcement that we finally got a minority as an owner, then right behind that, you should be letting me know what his duties are. Because when you're talking about got one in, listen.
Jimmy Haslam when Jimmy Haslam
hold
bought
on.
the Browns?
Yeah, I knew Jimmy Haslam owned what's the fuel spots, flying J.
That's what you asked.
What I'm saying,
what his responsibilities are. Do we know what Jimmy Haslam's responsibilities? Or matter of fact, do we know what Randy and Al Lerner's responsibilities are when they bought the Browns?
Here's what: if this is a first, outline it all. Because listen, we know to some degree what those are. We know to some degree what they are. But
first,
okay,
what's the only thing different between Sean Carter owning the NFL franchise? And Jimmy
I'm saying he's the first minority.
Why do we need to get a thesis for him? Because that sounds like exceptions to the rule. That sounds like a hoop that we're trying to jump.
No. He's the first minority to own an NFL franchise. It's unprecedented. And if it ain't a token,
why does he need a charter? Why does he need a Bill of Rights then?
It's not that he need a Bill of Rights. What I'm saying to you is we've seen first before, but there were not others to follow. Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier. Well, if he the first and you being the first to break into this room that ain't nobody ever else been in before, and it's such a great deal, then Josh Gibson and all them other Negro League players should have been right on his heels.
Jake, can I interject a question? Let me ask you a question. Do you know, we all know who the first the only, should I say, he's not the first, but he's the only African-American owner in the NBA is, right? Michael Jordan.
Yeah, we had that when we was
Do we know who? Who is the head coach of the Charlotte Hornets?
But he actually wasn't the first. Bob Johnson sold it to him.
But no, I know that's why I said that. I say he's not the first. I corrected myself. He's not the first, but he's the only one.
Okay,
right now.
okay.
Yes. Who's his head coach? Who is his general manager? Are African Americans in those positions? No, they are not. He has
Thank you.
primarily under so being the first or the only does not translate necessarily. Now, having said that, let me say this. Jay-Z owning an NFL team would be wonderful for Jay-Z, and it would be wonderful for our children and for us as a community. Certainly, we would celebrate that. That's an African-American
accomplishment,
franchise.
Right.
Absolutely. We have to, it's an accomplishment. We would celebrate that. The issue here, Gully, is not whether or not that's an accomplishment that we should celebrate. The issue is, the opportunity that you took to get that accomplishment, and what kind of accomplishment is it really that you as an individual got a team? Does it help? Are you going to reduce murder and crime? And
there you go.
What do we have as a people to reflect on and say we cut down again? Now we're talking about Officer Pantaleno being able to go next door in New Jersey and get a job as a police officer. We're talking about the police unions just raised $100,000 for that man in a GoFundMe after he was just fired for murdering
See what I'm saying?
a man.
That's
He's
what.
not in
Thank
prison.
you.
What does ownership of a team, I'm asking you again, what does ownership of a team help? How does that help that? How did Jay-Z getting a team, and again, let's not kid ourselves. He does not have, and perhaps will not ever have, the kind of money to be a majority owner of an NFL franchise.
Thank
they
you.
Cost too much money, and what they require for him to achieve that, he has to make some other kind of moves, and you're not just gonna get that through some entertainment moves with the NFL running you as an entity. It's not gonna happen like that.
You ever heard of this word? It's called quota. I have. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Of course I have.
Okay, I was being facetious. I'm not saying that it's not a big deal. It's a big deal. Just like I wish my grandfather was alive to have seen that the African American had become president of the United States. Something that we never thought we'd see in our lifetime. We get it. Okay, but there's a honeymoon period. Once that honeymoon period, we're okay with you. I'm still dealing with whatever I've been dealing with before. See what I'm saying? So if you getting there is so significant, then there should be some trickle down immediately. And here's the killer part.
So I'll ask you, Gully, this. Let me ask you a question, Gully. It's like the weather. What has changed in the atmosphere of the NFL that we would celebrate this as an accomplishment? Has Jerry Jones apologized? Has Stephen Ross? Stephen Ross. The way we even got to this element of the conversation was just last week. Stephen Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, had a fundraiser for Donald Trump. The same man who told them they were sons of you-know-what and they should get off their so-and-so and play football and shut up, and told LeBron shut up, and told all
dribble,
these players.
Just shove and dribble,
this is what we're talking about. This is going on right now as we speak. Tell me again, what has been accomplished by getting a black owner? Did the atmosphere in the NFL change in terms of how those people feel about their players? Or do they feel that they're less than? Do they feel that they have somehow, has our relationship with them somehow changed? In fact, the players themselves are telling us, no, they have not. That's why Jay-Z, some of what he's done is out of place here, because you didn't go to the people who were having the initial conversation. The initial conversation was not between Jay-Z and the NFL. It was between Colin Kaepernick and the NFL.
Now, Brother Rich, it sounds like then, based on what you said, especially the anecdotes, you know what I'm saying? Not anecdotes, not to belittle them, but the fact that the points of reference that you made, it sounds like then the only real effective change would have been attrition. And I hate to make that argument because that sounds like the argument that sounds like the argument that is an element of the conversation that has to happen. But unfortunately, But unfortunately, that's what I'm saying. Unfortunately, it makes me, who's not a big Trump supporter or what have you, not a fan of the guy, the people who said that if you don't like it, get out the league. But it effectively, that is the only real change. That's the only real activity that will inspire change. Eric Reid got to no, necessarily, because you can't change. Listen, the ownership that you already highlighted, 2 examples of ownership saying shut up or play effectively. Shut up and play, or shut up or don't play.
So let me ask you a question, Gully. Do you really sincerely believe that let's take the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know the makeup of their team. Let's take them for instance. If they decide as a collective, all the players, I think we had this issue with Pittsburgh last year or the year before with respect to what action they would take. If those players decided as a collective to do whatever it was in unity, you really believe that the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers, would not have to come to the table and deal with those players and find some resolve? Or you think that it would just be as easy to just go out in today's modern world now? You think that those players believe that they can just be replaced like that? No, they know they cannot. That's why we see players more aggressive in their holdout, in particular the NBA. These players are aware now that they have more opportunity to be aggressive in their stance against. This is why they're telling them, don't use the word ownership. You find more NFL players even getting bolder to hold out when they become these quote-unquote mega or superstars. Because why?
They're upsetting the status quo apple cart.
Some word that he believes he was traded from New York as quote-unquote punishment because they don't want players in the NFL being bigger than the quote-unquote shield. So, again, I'm asking you, has the atmosphere in the NFL changed where any of this has changed, or are we just bringing Jay-Z in to take some of this heat off of us and, like Double J said, put it on Jay-Z and we can sit on the corner and watch those two people argue against each other? And like Jay-Z once famously said, see two people arguing from a distance, they can't tell who is who.
Now, I want Double J, because Double J been sitting back so patiently. You see what I'm saying? Double J, you didn't heard us go back and forth here for a minute. All good points. You know what I mean? And again, if you're up and around, you're out and about, you want to give us a shout, the number to call is area code 267-687-0026. That number again is area code 267-687-0026. Double J, go ahead, man. Get back in this. And give it to us straight now.
What I've done is I've sat back. I've played, as Brother Rich pointed out very appropriately, I looked at it from the viewpoint of the NFL. And what I just did this whole time is I've sat back. This is Roger Goodell. This is the other 31 owners. And why I'm at 31 is because, of course, I'm indicating at the 32nd it's been the big topic of discussion for the majority of the show up to this point.
Yeah.
And so we've broken this down 100 different ways. And all that's remained at its core nucleus has proven this point. We're not talking about social justice anymore. We're not talking about kneeling anymore. We've gone so far away. We've gone left and we've gone right. And we strayed away in both cases because we're so strongly willed on each side that we're forgetting what we were really fighting for at this point. And we haven't gotten any closer to solving that. And that's the issue that I have with this. Is that we're arguing about Kaepernick getting his job back. We're arguing that we just watched one guy who's, supposedly supported him and banished, and bashed the entity that he's now joining hands with. And we haven't taken one more single step, not even a millimeter, closer to showing any type of sign that a cause to prevent all of these tragic issues that we see way too often across the country. And you don't hear about this anywhere else around the world. The way that us as a society is being viewed and as Americans and America as a country, because of what people are witnessing,
it's not as glorious as it once was, and it's for reasons like this. We're looking at capital and greed and control and gain,
dubious and deceit.
rather than betterment.
Yeah. That's why I think Brother Richard's question is so important. What has this changed?
You know what it's changed? It's who people are mad at. That's all. And Jay-Z's willing to take that. He's willing to take it because he understands, look, I have enough influence. If they're mad at me, I'll find a way through my various entities under my umbrella to make this right. In addition to that, yes, there will be some bargaining in some improvement that he'll be able to amplify with the changes that do take place. If they donate to one charity, if they show up to one police department, if they're in one YMCA, the world will know.
Well, guess what? Like I said a little earlier, and to me and Gully, you can finish your point here. Let me get this out right quick. When you and I were talking privately, this is unprecedented. Number one, in reality, though, real talk, it ain't even happened yet. It's talk about it happening. My thing is, I'm from Missouri, not literally, figuratively. Of course, you got to show me. And once it's done, then the floodgates open. See? It's like a team going 0-16 and in the following year winning the Super Bowl. It's got to be if you're going to make this kind of move, this is a drastic move. And you don't make this move initially, in my estimation or in my opinion, and you make this move initially, and then all the other moves come in little chunks. Hell to the no. Excuse my French fries. If you make this move, then it's got to be, the other moves got to come in. This got to be in droves. Because you didn't.
But Jay, look at it this way: if you are a representative, or if you're in bed with Jay-Z, in terms of you're in business with him in some respect, can his assets really be damaged at this point from a move like this? And if you were to ask
probably
me,
not.
My answer is no.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, probably not. I'm just saying, if you again, and I referenced the Jackie Robinson thing. Yes, that was crucial and it's important, and I get all of that. But especially at that time, once that happened, then it can't be just one more after that. It's got to be 100 or 200 or 300. See what I'm saying? Because this is groundbreaking. When something never before happened, and this is now happening, man, you can't show me that you can tie your shoes with your eyes closed, and then you got your eyes open. Now you having trouble. You can't even. You don't even know how to lace them up. Now, no, don't sit right. No, you're making this dude. If this dude becomes an NFL owner, then you know how many NFL. Do you know how many more owners and coaches and all of that? It's got to be. We done sold out. That type of deal. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be kind of. Go ahead.
I want to point this out just briefly, and this is my last point with this.
It's cool. And then, Gully, you can go ahead after Double J.
I could promise you, I would not shock me if the outrage from this, let's say not enough gets done, we fast forward a little bit. And again, the momentum of Jay-Z becoming an owner continues to gain more momentum as well. So not enough being accomplished on the social side, but more and more talks continue about the team he may own, et cetera, who he's partnering with. And then it comes to a head where Jay-Z gets beheaded in the sense of nobody wants him as an owner. The NFL says, you know what, this is better that we part ways. Mission accomplished. Checkmate.
Gully, you going?
I see.
Well, okay, I'm sorry.
That speaks right into the question I was going to ask you, Double J, because the question I was going to ask you, and I wanted you to answer for everyone listening, is because you raised it. Because I know the answer. To me, it's quite obvious. And it speaks right into what Gully is saying, does Jay-Z, quote-unquote, owning an NFL team, whatever it means to anyone that's listening, Does Jay-Z owning an NFL team put him in the quote-unquote, as you referenced it, and we all know it and have heard it before, the good old boys network? Do you believe it puts him in the good old boys network because he quote-unquote owns the NFL team?
Absolutely not.
Mm.
If you think about it, how many times have we gone to a networking meeting?
Thank you.
I'm 30 years old.
Yeah.
I go into it. I'm a 30-year-old minority, and I go to it, and I see all the quote-unquote good old boys together, 20 years older than me, different ethnicities than me, different roles than me. They've known each other for X amount of years. Just because I'm at the party doesn't mean I really want it.
Yeah. Well, you know, just because they let you in the secret society don't mean you're a member, I guess. I don't know. Man, it was
But this is what I'm asking Gully. Tell me, based on that answer now, tell us what has changed among NFL owners. Are they all of a sudden now that Jay is at the table with them, are they no longer good old boys? Do they now have conversation with Jay in the room and say, well, you know what, who you got dancing for us this week? Well, you know what, we really changed our mind. We don't think we own your people anymore. We don't think we own these players. These players can now have rights. Is that what we believe Jay-Z's ownership will do? Is that what we are saying? Because if that's what we're saying, then I would applaud that if that's what we believe we get for that. But my response to you
why not? Because why not? Because historically, I'm gonna tell you
anywhere.
Historically, there's no place where we've only been aside from the presidency, which after 2008.
Hold on, one at a time.
Trump to respond.
One at a time.
All right. I don't know a place in history where aside from the moon, I don't know a place in history where we've been once and haven't been again. Okay, President Obama was the first black president. It took a while to get there. We don't know how much has changed.
But do you think he was in the good old boy? Okay, listen. But that's a okay.
Hold on. No. This hold on. I don't know because I'm addressing the idea of the good old boys network. The thing about it is,
then why did they try to kill everything he did? Why did they try to kill everything that he did?
Wait a minute.
If you truly in the good old
two terms, for his first 2 terms, President Obama had the House of Representatives and he had the Senate. He had a majority. Anything he wanted to pass, it passed.
But they wouldn't.
Now,
but what did he get passed?
Now, hold on. Wait a minute. To my point, I don't know a place where we've been to once and we haven't been again. A lot of people don't like Clarence Thomas, but he was after Thurgood Marshall. So a lot of people don't like Michael Jordan, but he was after Bob Johnson. The idea of him being first in any capacity. A lot of people don't like Drake, but what he's doing comes after what Michael Jackson did on the music charts.
But it's not
where we've been first. We haven't been the only ones. There were more.
But how many more?
Historically,
you can't be one and then just you can't. It can't be one and then just one more. That's my point. After Jackie Robinson, how many more?
I'm giving you examples of who followed. Think about it like this. How many years?
It's not about who followed. It's about how many.
On the planet. And that came years after Hank Aaron take the home run record. What?
Charlie, here's where I think you're wasting a little bit of time in response. No one is arguing that point.
Thank you.
That's why we said if Jay did that, we have to celebrate that. That's not the question. The question becomes this. What benefit do the we that you're referencing, because that's what you're using, I'm using your language, we, what benefit do we, and I'm assuming that by your we, you're talking about the African-American community, and because the African-American community would benefit, America and the neighborhood.
We're talking about minorities.
People would benefit. What benefit do we get when they own a team? What benefit have the people in Charlotte gotten? What benefit have we gotten that Michael Jordan owns a team? What benefit would we, because again, I'm only using your language. What benefit do we get for that?
We get one more.
Because from the capacity of sports being a sports entertainment and sports culture, once we have a seat at the table, it should inspire motivation, right? The idea of it is we're asking, how does a player who ultimately in his arena in sports entertainment wanted to bring issue to social change, now we want the owners to influence social justice. When you've already articulated to me, it can't happen. I'm not the one. I'm not out of place. I'm not out of place in try. I'm not. No, because like for example, you articulated for example, what did Jerry Jones say about his players, quote unquote, his players, and what they need to do for his team? They need to either stand up or don't play. What did the owner of the Jaguars do? Where he donated money to Trump's campaign?
No, that was the owner of the Dolphins.
Things that are outside of the sports arena now. But also concurrently inside of the sports arena, we also have what, like you guys said, a good old boy network that don't bring us to a seat at the table. Now we got somebody who's about to be at the seat of the table, and the expectation is in the arena of sport, he can change or agitate the thing that you say already exists, because you don't put us in a room and we just stay there by ourselves.
Okay, well then, like
again, I'm agreeing with all of that. I think the more important element that I'm looking for in your discourse is this. Yes, I hear all of that. I agree. We should celebrate that. If an African American gets into ownership, that is a cause for celebration. But as my teacher once said, we give that one clap. Blam. We give that a one clap. Now the question becomes, what else? Like Jay is asking us. Okay, what after that? What do we get after? Okay, let's say Jay-Z now owns the Pittsburgh Steelers. If that's the rumor, that's not real. Let's say he owns 101% of the team. So he owns everything. He owns the grounds that they're on. Tell me now, how, outside of us being able to say Jay-Z owns that team, how has what Colin Kaepernick knelt for that Jay-Z is now telling us? Because that's the question we're still on here. That's what Jay asked.
Thank you.
To open up the segment. How?
And I get that. My point is my end answer is specifically trying to illustrate the idea of it is we're not talking about the same thing. You can't answer. I cannot answer for you. Ownership in the NFL solving the problem of police brutality.
That's all I wanted to
say. Right, but Kaepernick's need didn't answer it at all either.
But it brought attention to it.
Your point. Hold on, wait. And the only way to get to your point is we can't keep blaming Jay-Z. We have to blame the other players that were too afraid to take a knee with Kaepernick and Eric Reid. Because
hold it.
Only through that mass attrition will we have gotten the answer.
No.
Just like in the protest, when enough of us stopped riding the buses, that's when they finally start to hear us.
You gonna get that or me?
I got it.
Well, I'll let you go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, my whole thing is, Gully, we are not saying that it should not be celebrated when something happens in our lifetime that we didn't think would happen in our lifetime. But it shouldn't take 2 more lifetimes to see it again. Am I making sense at all? If I'm not, please somebody tell me.
Well, again, I think that we did a nice. It was. I really appreciate that. That's why I really would want to hear your vantage point, your viewpoint, and I do appreciate that because I know that there is a positive viewpoint to this, and I did want to hear your viewpoint. And again, no one is quote unquote blaming Jay-Z. I'm not blaming
no.
Jay-Z. That's why I wanted to start out by saying I'm a Jay-Z fan. The question is this. Do I have to agree with this move? Do I see this move as something that I don't agree with this. And I don't agree with this because on principle, there are fundamental moves that are the chess move that you're making based on who you are. You're not just some regular schmo. If this was a businessman, some businessman decided, look, I'm making a move to own an NFL team, and we found out he's been negotiating and he has a deal, that's a different issue. You're talking about an iconic figure. And a figure who lifted and wore Colin Kaepernick's jersey, lifted his iconography all on his paws, talked about I'm with you. And so you go, again, this is why I use, you mentioned the analogies I use, the examples that I reference. If I go into your house behind your back, when I know you've been having an argument in your household, I tell your son, come over here.
Hold your thought, Brother Rich.
Let's make a deal.
Hold your thought, Brother Rich. Hold your thought. We got RB from Cleveland. He's saying sports and politics has been mixed. Let me get him on the line here. RB, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
This is my cat RB. RB was on the show with us last week. He was a guest host, or now we was talking about the Packers and the NFC North and whatnot. You said mixing sports and politics can't solve problems. Would you care to elaborate on that? And then, Brother Richard, you can finish your thought.
Yeah, I was speaking to whoever I was speaking to just a few minutes ago.
He's our screener.
Sports and politics is being blurred. The lines is being blurred sometimes, like sports is entertainment, politics is politics. They try to blur the lines, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy with what Jay-Z did. The whole thing with Colin Kaepernick, I totally agree with that. I've been listening to the whole show. I agree with everybody's points of view. I don't think nobody's right or wrong, and whatever they're saying, everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Right.
And you know, and I look at it like, hey, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. At the end of the day, you know, I don't think whatever's going on that level is not going to affect us on the regular, everyday, daily. And it's just, I think we then got lost in the whole. You know, I'm watching some of these sports talk shows and stuff like that, and I think it's just a lot of time is just being wasted on trying to tackle something that is going way beyond where I'm watching a sports show. I want to hear about sports. This is talking about some politics and taking the knee and all that, and you know, and I can understand what JC said when he said we going beyond the knee. I see where he was going with that. You know. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with it, but I can see where Jay was coming from with it. Mm-hmm. So that's why I said when I hear Kelly making his points and I hear Double J making his points and Brother Britt saying his points, I can agree with everybody, even with you, Jay. I agree with what everybody's saying, but I think sports and politics, the lines have blurred, and, you know, I think it just knows us off for that.
All right, that's fair. But, you know, I'll say this to that. You know, a lot of times, you know, you say, you know, sports and politics don't mix. But at the center of all of this, man, is people. It's people in them uniforms. See, sometimes, and I'm not saying you, because I've had conversations with other people about watching sports, especially the NFL, and they see a uniform and they think or have no regard for the person in the uniform. That dude come out of that uniform at some point, and he got to deal with everyday life too, regardless of how much money you got or how much money you ain't got. It's people at the nucleus of this thing. I, to some degree, think it's all relative because this is sports as it relates to everyday life. Yes, it's a game is what we call it. But at the end of the day, I look at cats like Darryl Stingley, for instance, and what Jack Tatum did to him way back when he was in the day with the Patriots and Raiders, things and whatnot. He was playing a game, and then the guy ended up paralyzed for the rest of his life. We're talking about people. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, it can't solve the problems, or you're saying mixing it can't solve the problems, but you can't have one without the other, I don't feel. You feel what I'm saying? Now, maybe when the NFL and these sports leagues start going to robots, then you can separate. You feel me? But as long as you got people, see, and again, it's not you, because it's some people, man. You talk to them, and they, you know, especially when we talk about the issue of what players make and monies and all of that, and people so quick to say, "Oh, he ain't worth this." How? What you mean? He ain't worth that. How you? It's easy for you to say, but you telling me if you was in this position, we talking about just this people, man, at the center of all of this, whether it's hockey, football, soccer, basketball, whatever the case may be. You can't. And matter of fact, the fans sitting in the stands watching these things. That's the one common denominator amongst all of it. It's the people. I just don't feel like you can separate one from the other. But I understand what you say. Mixing it won't solve it. You feel me? And it ain't so much about Jake, because ain't nobody mad at. I ain't mad at Jigga. What I'm saying is, if you're gonna stand, stand. If you're gonna sit, then sit. But do not waver. Because we all know once you waver, that's where the problems come in. RB, man, I appreciate you for calling in, man. You know what I'm saying? I'll holler at you when we get to the job site. Because I know this is a hot topic. We ain't even got to the NFL yet. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to keep listening.
It's all good, man. We appreciate you for calling.
Jay, I like that. I like that. Can I say something to that politics thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think it's an indoctrination of a people. You know, we're the only people on earth, primarily and mainly African Americans, who talk and say and have been and many Americans, so let me say Americans to be more general about it, who talk like that and say we should leave sports and politics separate and apart from each other. And here's what I mean by that. Absent the knowledge that every single thing you do in this country involves politics. The very team that you're rooting for benefits from politics, uses politics. The issue of signing their players involves politics. Where the team is located involves politics. When you lose a team like the Browns you lost many years ago was politics. The players are politics. There's politics in the barbershop. There's politics in your house. There's politics in the locker room. There's politics in Washington, D.C. There's politics among your girlfriends. Women have politics. Men have politics. How do we say leave politics off the football field? How do we say leave politics off of, and here's the issue now, Colin Kaepernick was not discussing politics. Colin Kaepernick barely speaks. All he was doing is kneeling on the sideline, and somebody asked him, why are you doing that? And he happened to say, I think that nobody's paying attention to young men being murdered by the police. And because his quote-unquote statement, which people interpreted as his politics, offended so many people, primarily Trump voters, it became a political issue. And then people were divided based on your political
beliefs. Yes.
And your politics are with you no matter where you go. You can't divorce me from my politics. I believe what I believe. And it don't matter. I don't care if I go into a whorehouse. I'm taking my politics with me. And that's a fact. And everybody does that. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's who we are as human beings, like you're saying to us, Jay. And that's just what it is. And don't ask me to divorce my politics from what I'm looking at, because that makes me an uninformed voter. I got to know what I'm looking at. America,
yes.
Having a democracy demands that you be an informed voter and not just somebody who go along with everything they tell you. We do not go along to get along.
And see, that's what I mean. So many people get caught up in the performance and they forget that it's still the people. And let me give you the definition of politics per Webster and any vocabulary.com, whatever you want to look up. All right, based on his English language and so on and so forth, right? The activities associated with the governance of a country or other area, especially the debate or conflict among individuals or parties having or hoping to achieve power. Now, I get it that it's a little bit, you know what I'm saying, you know, it's part of what we're talking about is in there, it's pieces of it and whatnot. But I'm talking about the governance. We govern... What aspect of your life you're not governed by? Whether you're at work, whether you're on the football field, or you're governed by something. It's the people, man. It's the people. And I Gully, I hear you all day, every day. When we get one, and it's not so much about African Americans as it is minorities. Because there are some, and what makes one a minority? I asked this question to a guy along the. To me, it's you know, I just mentioned the tax bracket thing. If you ain't got what they got, then you less than, you know what I mean. But not who you are as a culture. I don't believe in that. It's the tax bracket thing, if you want to point to, in my estimation. But yeah, okay, for minorities, you get one, and then you get another one 20 years later. Or if you get one, see if you saying that one is the key to unlock the door, but you can't unlock the door and then close the door back, or you can't unlock the door and then okay, I'll like the bouncer at the club. Okay, I can let you in because you with him. No, let us all in. No disrespect. But that's why, you know, and we're going to discuss this, man, maybe at a later date. But I've been holding this topic for quite some time because I really wasn't sure when to bring it out. But the forgotten four, the four African Americans who integrated professional football with the Cleveland Browns in the mid-40s. 4, not 1, and then another one came. 4. Y'all got to go back and look at the history back before. It was more than, I'm saying, like in the case of Jackie Robinson and so on and so forth. Yes, But if you get one to come through, because where did Jackie Robinson? Matter of fact, and to be real talk, Jackie Robinson wasn't even the best player in the Negro leagues. Brother Richard, when you mentioned vetted, I believe them folks who was running that thing was like, you know what? Who we gonna pick? Let's get him. Yeah. He gonna be the face of it, or he gonna be the one. Yeah. Because we feeling pressure from this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Times are changing, so we feeling the pressure. So we got to do something. That's why I mentioned earlier about quota. Man, I was working at a company one time, and I heard a guy on the phone say, "Well, we already got our 3 black people." Really? Smell like quota, man. See what I'm saying? You want to make the difference? Then guess what? And you're right. Okay, so say he ain't got to outline whatever it is when he signed the deal, or there was talk about him being an owner and so on and so forth. But, hey, here's what I'm coming with. Hey, Roger, here's what we doing. If you're going to tell the people that I'm about to be this, or this is what we about to do, then let the people know. Let them know, because it's some folk out there, man, they're going to have an issue with this out the gate. So then let them know, hey, man, he going to be the head of the entertainment, and here's how it's going to go down. We're going to get this, we're going to get that, we're going to get that. And then when you become an owner, everybody on the sideline going to be minorities. The coaching staff, the front office, the whole nine. Okay. Oh, I see you making moves. But what Brother Richard is saying, Gully, is the move that was made benefited how many? Literally. Not just for the sake of water cooler talk, but literally benefited how many? That's all I'm saying.
One.
That's all I'm saying. See what I mean? If I'm gonna make a move, like, hey, I promise you right now, and we definitely talked about this months and months and months ago on previous shows. Me personally, how I roll, it ain't about your color, man. It's your character, man. So for me, if I get $10 and I got my boys, we splitting that sucker. If I'm eating, we all eating. It ain't gonna be okay, man. I'm gonna go over here and get some food, and then y'all just wait until the next. No, we all eating. What you mean? You ain't ate that? You ain't ate Double J. You ain't ate what? Oh, we all going up in this restaurant. If we gonna make some noise. Otherwise, man, it's flowery rhetoric, man. But we'll see. We'll see. Because we sitting here having a discussion about it, like other people have been discussing it, as if though it didn't already happened. And it ain't even happened yet. It's just talk about it. And look what the talk surrounding, look what that did and took off. Because there is a chance that it might not even happen. Then what? How unprecedented is that? See what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man. No disrespect to nobody else and their walks of life and the things that they done been through. But I'm telling you, man, I done been in the dirt, man. I done been in the dirt. And I'm telling you, I done seen how folk movers and shakers roll. When they feel like the folks who running things feel like they feeling some heat, they make a move to turn the heat down. Now, if that ain't what this is, then so be it. But from where I'm sitting and the things I done seen, something don't smell right to me, man. Because I'll go back to what I said from the beginning. Look at the timeline. This is announced, and before I can sit down, like Manny Pacquiao and Ricky Hatton, before I could even sit down and eat a chip, the fight was over. Before I could even sit down, you announcing this too? Man, come on, man. Ain't nobody questioning that, though. The timeline. But again, to Double J's point and Brother Richard's point and your point too, Gully, and everybody's point, this is what, and I had talked to Herm too about this. I was hoping that he would come on here because he has some very, 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 very interesting things to say as well. But at the end of the day, this is, Brother Richard, you hit it. How did this change what's going on? Because guess what? It's whatever's been happening is going to happen. And when you can put your hands up and still get murdered, I mean, You know what I mean? Owning an NFL team equals what? But we'll see. Fellas, I want to thank you all for, and we still got this, we're going to discuss and cover this NFC South. I hope you all are still with me. From looking at the screen here, it looks like we all are still here. I don't even know how you segue to, we talking about the NFL, but I don't even know how you segue to breaking down the NFC South, but we will do that. And before we get to that, though, I want to announce once again, I want to thank my man RB for calling. Me and him going to chop it up a little later on and whatnot. But if you're up and around and you're out and about and you want to give us a shot, we in the last portion of the program. The number to call is area code 216-687. No, did I say that right? Hold on. Let me even look at my sheet. See, I don't even know the number no more. Yeah. Oh, that's funny, Double J? Really?
667-687-0026.
Okay.
667-687-0026.
Yeah, got you. Yeah. Garfield 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Yeah, whatever. That was a commercial for something here in Cleveland. Okay. The NFL season is upon us, basically. I mean, we got preseason jumping off. Oh, and by the way, Brother Rich and Double J, I know it's just preseason, quote unquote. But how my man?
Yeah,
how,
yeah. Talk about the champions. Talk about the.
Oh, stop it! How my man? Daniel Jones.
I'm sorry.
Oh boy. How my man Double J Jones? How my man Daniel Jones for the Giants looking so far to you, Double J and Brother Rich? Oh, that's what I thought. Because if I do recall,
I thought I was letting Double J go ahead.
Yeah.
No, by all means, after you.
Oh yeah. That's right. Moonwalking. Michael Jackson, baby.
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. I'll say like a certain young, magnificent quarterback said, they drafted him. That's all I'll say.
Hey, I'm gonna say this too, right quick. Baker got to be cool on that. I get it. He was taking a shot at the Giants more so than he was Daniel Jones. He was trying to back up OBJ
because he's riding with his boy.
He riding with his boy.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, he riding with his boy. But you don't need to. Don't say something about the Giants if that's the case. Don't knock because Daniel Jones. It ain't his fault the Giants drafted him, but he is looking good. You know what I mean? Because it could be preseason all you want, but I tell you what, them timing throws, ball placement. That's devoid of preseason, baby. Now, I ain't saying he's going to be the second to come in a Y.A. Tittle or nothing like that. You know what I mean? Or Sam Huff and them boys. But so far, Barbershop J looking pretty good on that call. Yeah, but let's get to some of this NFC. What'd you say?
I want to see him with some first-team reps.
Oh, boy, here you go. It's always the ever-changing narrative.
And I told you already, the dog pound is full. And the bandwagon is full as well, so you're gonna have to, you better hope the Giants do something.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I'm not saying I'm the Giants fan. We talking about Daniel Jones. Gully, you in on that too? You in on the Browns bandwagon like that too?
Hey, listen, it makes tour stops to Columbus all the time, and I'm right on it.
Thank you, sir.
I deserve. Hey, listen, and furthermore, because I see a little condensation, if that's a word, condescending in your tone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
But listen,
definitely.
For everything we suffered, okay, I don't care if it's a bandwagon or not. I feel like being from Cleveland, for as terrible as they've been, and for as terrible as they've been in all the heartbreaks, I deserve that if there's a bandwagon, I can get to renew my membership and get grandfathered in for all the years of misery I suffered and rooted through.
Okay, well, hold up. We're going to get this NFC South, folks, if you're out there still listening, right here in a second, after I have something to say here. No one can question my fandom when it comes to the Browns. I remember Red Right 88. I remember Dave Logan was wide open in the right flat. I remember Brian Sipe winning NFL MVP in 1980, only Browns player to do that, and at that position, mind you. I watched Brian Sipe force the ball to Ozzie Newsome when Mike Davis came across his face, and I remember Sam Rutigliano, coach of the Browns at the time, saying to Sipe before the play, look here, man, if it ain't there, throw it away. I remember that. I remember Red Right 88. I remember the drive. I remember the shot. I remember the fumble.
Tell me, do you remember this? Is it in Technicolor or is it still in black and white? Because as old as these memories are, because all you're doing is showing your age.
Whoa. So you talking like Brother Rich and Double J now. Y'all real foxy with it now that y'all got Baker Mayfield. I'm just saying, I like what the Browns are doing. I mean, I'm on record, man. John Dorsey, fleeced the Houston Texans because they don't have no GM over there. And, you know, I'm a Cane fan through and through. Oh, we play Florida this Saturday, by the way. College football season will start. We play Florida, and if we don't win, y'all won't hear from me for about another year. But anyway, I was not happy that my man Duke ain't in Cleveland no more. I wasn't happy about that. I'm a Cane fan, baby. Rohan Marley, baby. But John Dorsey about to get a third-round pick? Because who telling me right here, right now, that Duke Johnson going to the Texans is not going to play? That's what I thought. Silence envelops the room. Let's get to some of this NFC South talk. Y'all can't do nothing with me today. Dog bang. And I hope that bus y'all riding on, one of the lug nut Greyhound, one of the lug nuts fall off. But anyway, the Falcons. We're going to start with them. And it's real simple, actually. To me, they go as Matt Ryan goes. And Matt Ryan goes as his O-line goes. You know, his O-line gave up 42 sacks last season, and he had 108 quarterback hits. Double J, what's going on with that? Will the Falcons ever see a Super Bowl again? As terrible as that offensive line is?
You bring up a very valid point about the need for an offensive line. You talk about a need for rhythm. They have, again, this is year 2 of Dirk Cutter, and so, you know, where the expectations are high, because, again, they're hoping that they put a couple Band-Aids on this stuff. But, again, despite, you know, it's hard to gauge right now without Julio Jones in the preseason. But they do have a healthy Devontae Freeman, and hopefully, again, the hope is that that's going to, you know, free up some opportunities, and at the very least, you know, give Matt Ryan a little bit more time because it gives the defense a little bit more to think about.
And speaking of the word high, that's exactly what the Falcons are. No offense, because I got family in Atlanta, but that's exactly what the Falcons are if they think Matt Ryan is taking them to another Super Bowl anytime soon. Gully, what do you have to say?
I think it's going to be a tough year for the Falcons.
Yeah, we didn't ask you to think. What do you have to say? Because I know you think that the Browns is going to the Super Bowl the next 5 years and the whole. Now, I get it.
Yeah, but again, I think if you're asking me about the Falcons, there's another team that I'm waiting for you to bring up. But as far as the Falcons, I think it's going to be another tough year. I think them and the Bucks are going to be battling it out for, you know, a last to be, let's say, the race to last, race to the bottom. Maybe more competitive, but I don't see nothing happening out of Atlanta this year.
I don't either. Brother Rich, you still got your Deion Sanders jersey?
Well, this always gets me in trouble all around the country, but I have to answer it like this. Your question, if I answered it in a simple form, would be like this. The Falcons are like Atlanta. Very overrated.
Oh, man, that was a shot. Whoa, Brother Rich, what's up, man? You taking boxing lessons or something?
Wow. I mean, I just said the team was going to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like man,
Ooh.
What happened to you in Atlanta, man?
Yeah, that's a left
you
hook.
Talk about it. That seemed rough.
Yeah, he threw a left hook, man. I just mentioned Manny Pacquiao, Ricky Hatton. That's what that was, man. I didn't get to sit down in my seat. Yeah, I'm just saying we'll see what the Falcons are. The NFC South is not really that. The Saints win the division again, if you ask me. I'm just putting it out there now. But right now, I want to ask you all about the Panthers, and in particular, I'm going to say this. The Carolina Panthers, that is. We all know that Christian McCaffrey, I mean, he a solid, multi-dimensional type weapon, if you would. We know what he's going to be, but the question surrounding them is Cam's right shoulder. Will it hold up? Because you know about 2 years ago, I think it was, Double J, didn't he have surgery for like a partial torn rotator cuff? And then this past January, he had a arthroscopic procedure on it, on that same shoulder. So, I mean, you know, we talk about Matt Ryan in Atlanta. The Panthers go as Cam Newton go, right?
Of course. Are you kidding? You know, look, the biggest issue here is not going to be just the health of Cam Newton, but more importantly, you got to remember they're replacing Matt Khalil.
Yeah, and you know what?
And that's the biggest question mark.
Yeah. Yeah, and not only that, too, I wanted to throw in here that they Thomas Davis will be missed on the defensive side of the ball. I'm telling you that right now. They're going to have holes up the middle, baby. I wish the Browns was playing them. No offense to Cam. I do like Cam, but as far as the Panthers go, I wish the Browns was playing them 16 weeks. Then we could go 16-0 as opposed to 0-16. No? All right. Jumping out the plane at 50,000 feet with no parachute? Yeah, that's me. Gully, what you got to say?
You know, Cam Newton is, I mean, you know, I guess it would be easy to say, you know, the quarterback tell the tale for the team, right? But I hope he's great. I'm not sure. I like for them to be battling the other team out of the NFC South that I think is going to be making some noise. I think the Panthers are going to be very competitive this year. I think he's going to do his best, and I think he's going to be very successful, very effective at calming all the doubters about him and his overall legacy. I think the team is very strong. I think they'll make a lot of noise. I think they're going to be competitive. So I'm liking what I see out the Panthers thus far, and I expect them to be in the hunt for something big, maybe near the end of the season.
Yeah, I hope it ain't no discrepancies this year with him getting sacked, you know, and taking all them hits that he took, you know, a few minutes ago, so to speak, you know, when other quarterbacks, you know, they didn't have to deal with all of that, you know, because he called it out, you know what I mean? And a lot of players called it out, too. He's like, man, why Cam taking such a beating, but anybody else, you know what I'm saying, you know, you brush past their helmet, you know, and it's a 35-yard penalty, you know what I mean? Cam don't get the same love as some other cats get, you know what I mean? So, you know, we're going to see how that play out, too, because I think you got to factor that in as well. I mean, the Panthers are what the Panthers are. If you ask me to put a number on the record this year, yeah, I'll be fair and say 9-7. But, you know, I think the Saints come out of that division, you know, because, you know, based on what happened last year, and, Brother Rich, I'm throwing this one at you, will the Saints ever recover from the refs swallowing their whistles last year in the NFC Championship game? Where they have a letdown.
I think that here's why I think that they recover more than any other, as opposed to another team, because that organization is tight, their team is tight, their quarterback is solid. They have a solid franchise, if you will. So if any team can recover, as opposed to Atlanta, who had what is considered a fragile quarterback in Ryan when they fell apart, this team is more apt and more equipped to come through that. They're more solid. So I think they're coming to that. I want to touch on Cam, and I want to go on record as saying this on this broadcast. We've seen the best of Cam Newton, and it's for exactly what you indicated. They have allowed him, and he's taken far too many hits. And we can see now that they've started to add up. And so, unfortunately, we have to be concerned about whether or not he'll be as exposed as he has been, and the Panthers have been unwilling to give him what he's needed to do what potentially we knew that his talents would have allowed him to do. They didn't let him do that. So look for New Orleans to continue to be in contention, but I don't think they're coming out either.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that 100%. But I'll say this, and Gully and you and Double J can weigh on this, and Gully, I'll throw this at you. Marcus Thomas, is it Marcus Thomas? Well, who's the Saints wide receiver, the big-time wide receiver for the Saints, Gully? Malcolm Thomas? Michael Thomas, excuse me, yeah. I need to brush up on my Saints-ism, so to speak. If the Saints, well then, Double J, you can say it first two or not. With Malcolm Thomas, who's on the other side of Malcolm Thomas that, as Brother Richard alluded to, of all the teams in NFC South, they seem to be the best, you know, from top to bottom, so to speak. You know, as far as their depth, you know, we know what Sean Payton is, and you know, Drew Brees, because I'm going to say something else about Drew Brees right quick. But who's on the other side of Malcolm Thomas this year? Because I want to mention something else. Don't steal my thunder either, Double J. Can you just give me a straight answer with no thunder stealing?
I will do my best.
Oh, boy. Who's on the other side? Go ahead.
To answer your question, though, the other side of Michael Thomas this year is going to be a former Buckeye, Ted Ginn Jr. And I actually believe that this is the best, other than Jimmy Graham, this is the best compliment that he's had since then.
Okay, which leads me to my next point about the Saints. You know, Drew Brees is up there in age, you know, like my man Tom Brady. What is he, 75? Look good for 75, too, by the way. Can he still get it done? You know, Father Time is undefeated. Yeah? No? Maybe? Gully?
Absolutely.
Oh, Brother Richard, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think.
Wait a minute, did y'all all go to the same school?
When the question,
hold on, did y'all all go to the same school? Is that the generic answer?
The school
Absolutely.
Of common sense.
Because you know,
we missed you in class.
Yeah,
we missed you in class. We went to the school of common sense. We missed you in class.
You know what?
Graduated. I don't know where you was at.
Yeah. Right. I hope you got your shoes on the right feet. My man RB that just called in, he say that same thing, man. Y'all all graduated before me. You know what I mean? You know, I'm just saying, man. You know, don't be mad at me because I sat next to Abe Lincoln in high school. You know, respect your elders is what I'm going to tell you. You know what I mean? Because he said the same thing. Absolutely. And he be definitive, too. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm like, man, what y'all having for lunch? Absolutely is what he say. But, yeah, that's funny to y'all? Okay, anyway, I got you. So you think Drew Brees can still get it done, huh? You think he will get it done?
Absolutely.
Oh, here we
yeah,
go.
absolutely. I absolutely think he will.
Okay,
absolutely.
again.
I keep saying absolutely because there's no simpler way to put it. Think about it. The question was asked, can they get it done after what happened to them last year? Unlike many other types of hits or misses, you know, where a team comes up short, it ultimately came down to not a failure.
Oh, we lost you.
Not a failure on their part, but it came down to something outside of their control. So they had done everything to keep themselves in the moment, and it was something else that kept them out of it. So that being said, can they redo what they did? Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't like they came up short and, you know, it wasn't like a Scott Norwood field goal. It wasn't like a Kawhi Leonard missed free throw. It was a referee not doing their job when they hadn't done theirs. Can they repeat that with a vengeance? Yes. We've seen lots of times where I want to say has a little microcosm. I want to say, wasn't it Davion Clowney, I guess one year, remember where like a goal line stance or something happened and the team got a 5th down when they didn't call it right. And so what ended up happening on the very next play, out of a missed call, he blew past the line, forced the fumble to get the ball back in their possession because his team had rightly caught it. I'm saying, on a larger scale, the Saints know what happened, and the rest of the league knows what happened. So they're going to make sure that it's not a fluke, and they're well equipped to do it.
Okay, so then hit me with this one then. We all know, we've watched enough NFL, and surely today we've talked about enough NFL. My goodness, we're going on 2 hours. And let me throw this out here again right quick. If you're up and around, you're out and about, and you want to give us a shout, the number to call is area code 267-687-0026. That number again is area code 267-687-0026. You see, y'all kind of get why I was laughing right there, right? Because I didn't know if I was going to be able to get it out. And I'm still looking at the doggone paper and still couldn't get it right. Any offense or successful offense in the NFL requires what? It's one word. Let me see if you all can get this one word. Double J. And let me repeat the question. Any NFL offense, for its success and maintained or consistent success, requires one thing. And what is that? Got you. Don't be talking that Baker Mayfield stuff to me, baby.
I would say.
See, are you talking about a verb or a noun?
Oh, please. This ain't English class.
That I'm looking at.
Oh, my gosh.
I would just say cohesion. I would say cohesion. It requires cohesion. Everybody got to be operate as one unit. It requires cohesion. For an offense in the NFL to operate, it has to operate from the sideline to the quarterback, to everybody understanding what they're doing, no matter what the conditions are, understanding their signals. It requires a high level of cohesion. And so that's the word I would throw out.
Okay, that's a darn good answer, but it's not the one I was looking for. But that's a darn good one, Brother Rich. Okay, I feel you. I feel you over there. You got your spectacles on like me, huh? Okay, I feel you burning some midnight oil. Double J. See, Double J is the NFL executive for us. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's sitting in circles with them cats, really sitting in circles. You know what I mean? So go ahead, Double J. And he got a drop top. Just want to let y'all know. So go ahead, do your thing. What's the one I'm looking for, Double J?
I would say identity.
That's a good one too. Man, y'all own it today. But no. Gully, what's the one thing I'm looking for?
me and you about to disagree, but no great team has won the Super Bowl without a great. See, they gave you verbs or adjectives.
Oh my gosh!
Lineman. Name me a Super Bowl winner that did not. Name me a Super Bowl that did not have a front five. Now, even though we can't remember names, we might remember a name or two or left or right tackle. But name a front five. Name a team that won a Super Bowl without a great line.
Okay.
Linemen.
Good. All three of them was good answers. But guess what? No. I should have hit the bell on all three of y'all. But anyway, I won't do that right now. Hindsight being 30-40. Offensive balance. Without Mark Ingram, Kamara now has to shoulder more of the load. We saw what Kamara did in spot duty, so to speak, or splitting time with Ingram. But I think, and even though I'm still picking the Saints, that's how really what I'm saying about the NFC South, really. But I'm picking the Saints to still, of course, win the division, like I said. But it's when they get beyond winning the division. Because you know what the Saints.
Can we buzzer the host?
Can you buzzer the host? No.
Because to answer your question with what the logic you just provided, Latavius Murray is meant to serve the role that Mark Ingram had.
I don't care who meant to serve the role, but ain't no Mark Ingram. Now cut it out, Double J. With you and these.
Come on, Latavius Murray can match those numbers.
No.
Anything type of exotic.
No. See, no. This is not a numbers thing, Double J. This is I'm talking about.
I mean, they're roughly the similar size of one another. It was just one wanted to cash in. So he went to Baltimore.
I ain't mad. I'm not mad at the guy. I'm just saying I'm talking about the Saints and the fact that they don't have Mark Ingram anymore. See, Mark Ingram brought something to the table that Latavius Murray didn't or can't. I don't think he can do that, man. Mark Ingram that's an Alabama product. You know, I know Trent Richardson. I don't know where he at now, but may he rest wherever it is. And I ain't saying he gone from here. I'm just saying he gone from the league in 10 seconds. Mark Ingram is one of them guys, man. You talking about a rolling, bowling ball, man. When he when he made contact with defenders, it hurt the defenders. I don't see Latavius Murray being that guy. When he lowered that shoulder, the defender gonna be like, ouch, oops. Oh, did you hit me? Okay. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let's look at last year. Mark Ingram had 645 yards. All right? Is that sound like anything stellar to you?
No.
Latavius Murray had 578. The year before, Ingram had 1,000 yards, which is fine, but Latavius Murray himself has had 1,000-yard season.
Okay.
If you look at touchdowns, both had 6 touchdowns last year.
Okay, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what Sam Huff, former Giants defensive end, used to say when he ran up against Jim Brown. And I'm not saying that Ingram, Murray, Kamara are in the conversation with Jim Brown, so don't start down that road. What I'm saying to you is Sam Huff said, man, when Jim Brown used to come around the corner on them sweeps, man, and he hit me in my chest, I tried to lay him out, man. But he said, I used to be hurting at the end of the games running into that dude, man. The Syracuse lacrosse product. That's what I'm talking about, Double J. The yardage is fine. The touchdowns are fine. All that's fine. I'm saying, what defender, when he running into Latavius Murray, or Latavius Murray running into him, is going to have after the fact saying, hey, man, my chest is hurting. What would Dave Chappelle say when he did a little Rick James skit? Oh, Charlie Murphy, you kicked me in my chest. The inside of my chest is bleeding. That's what I'm talking about. Huh? Latavius Murray ain't bringing that, man. See what I mean?
I completely disagree. I think he's perfect to fill the role.
Okay.
I actually think he has better hands than Mark Ingram does.
Okay, now that might be a factor.
As a dual threat. He can be more effective in New Orleans system than Mark Ingram could have been.
Whoa, Double J. Now, see, you doing one of Brother Richard's numbers. That was a left hook, man. Here we go. That Pacquiao Hatton. That was a left hook. Are you really saying that on the air? Are you saying that? Did you really just say that? No, you didn't just say that. All right. I'll let you have it. for now. But yeah, I'm thinking that's when I watch the Saints, man, this year. I'm talking beyond. They'll win the division, I think, because they're just that much better than everybody else in the division, I believe. But it's when they get beyond the division because the Saints have Super Bowl expectations every year because of Drew Brees and Sean Payton and, you know, who they got at the top and all of that good stuff and the coaching staff and whatnot. I'm talking about when they get to the playoffs, they might miss Mark Ingram. And I love Kamara. But it's a whole different ball game, man, when you're getting, you know, half the carries and all of a sudden, you know, like they say about when coaches, you know, one guy's an offensive coordinator, and he's great at offensive coordinating. And then he get a head coaching job. And you be like, man, the difference between him as a coordinator and the head coach is night and day. Yes, it's easy to look at that seat to your left and be like, oh, I could sit there. But when you get in there, all the other stuff that come with it, we like, whoa, all right. I ain't had to do this when I was a coordinator. I'm just saying, man, without Mark Ingram, you know, Kamara's nice. But they're going to be looking at him a whole lot more than they will be Murray. I think so. So that's what I'm looking at when it comes to the Saints, beyond winning the division. And when they get to the playoffs, once again, what can Kamara do to make up for the loss of Ingram? Because we all know Latavius Murray ain't no Mark Ingram. But I do like him. And then last but not least, the Tampa Bay. Can we even call them the Buccaneers anymore? I guess not, huh? Yeah, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah. It's Bruce Arians a bust. Hey, I like Jameis at Florida State. Nice guy, I guess, and all that kind of stuff, whatever it is. But, man, this dude, I mean, I want to see him do well, but it's unfortunate, man, that a lot of quarterbacks who come from college and they get to the NFL, because Jamarcus Russell alluded to it. Johnny Manziel even said it. I want to study in my playbook. I don't understand why, but maybe they just so, I don't know what the word is. You know, they so, you know, when it comes to their athleticism and their talent, you know what I mean? They're overconfident, I guess, in that. Oh, I could do this at this level. No, when you get to that level, the NFL, it's 11 guys on the other side that's supposed to be there. You're going to have to do some studification. Again, let me remind you all, if you haven't, you should. Go look at my man. Go look up my what's my guy's name? Bernie Kosar. Sorry, the U. He got a book out right now called "Learning to Scramble." You all should read it. Trust me, he breaking down what an NFL. And this is, we know Bernie played in the '80s now, early '90s, I believe, when he was on the Cowboys team. Gully, when did he win the Cowboys? Yeah, that was what, 92. When he held the '93 Super Bowl team.
93, he won the Super Bowl.
Okay,
yeah,
so early, you know, '80s,
93.
early '90s, or whatever it is. But he's talking about. See, we from a fan standpoint, you know, we look at the position and be like, man, he shouldn't, man. And I get it. But you got to, that's why I'm telling you, man, when me and her, the conversations we have, man, they're just mind-blowing at times. Bernie is talking about from a perspective of being a quarterback in the league. He said it goes beyond just the television, y'all. He broke down a play in this book. One play, he said it was one of his favorite plays that he used to like to run, him and Webster Slaughter. He ran it a couple of times with Reggie Langhorne, too. Man, do you know this one play and the breakdown of this one play took up one whole chapter? So imagine an NFL quarterback's playbook. I rest my case. I'm just trying to tell you. Jameis, man, you're going to have to get it together, man. If Bruce Arians can't get this guy right, ain't no get right for him. And the Bucs will go.
Well, I'm going to chime in here.
Okay.
And I believe he will get it right. And I'm going to tell you why. It's going to be the combination of both Bruce Arians, who I don't believe is a miracle worker and can do this thing entirely on his own. However,
disrespectful.
This person will likely get credit. Or maybe he won't. But hopefully my statement here will help get him back in the spotlight. It's the addition of Byron Leftwich.
Oh, my gosh.
Who's now going to be working with them.
You know what? I like Byron Leftwich, actually. He was serviceable at Jacksonville. I really did. I like him, actually. But no, not going to happen. The only thing comes
serviceable, man. Are you serious? Serviceable? He was more than serviceable. He was clearly a guy that was limited by his injury, and he did amazing with that, man. He led him to playoffs He led him to the playoffs on an ACL. on a bad one, a hurt one, not like guys that was missing like John Elway. He hurt his and still led them to the playoffs.
Okay, so guess what? More than serviceable. How's that? But when it comes to Marshall, the only thing that came out of Marshall that going to get my Hall of Fame accreditational type vote, even though I don't have one officially, but I will be here shortly, is Randy Moss. I should have gave a clap. Yay! Rand University. And I ain't mean I don't like Byron Leftwich. But, yeah, anyway. So you're saying, Double J, that Byron Leftwich will be to Jameis Winston what Gary Danielson was to Bernie Kosar. Is that what you're telling me here? Is that what you're saying? I didn't think so.
I do believe it's gonna have a positive impact. If you look at the defensive side of the ball, it's vastly improved. You got, of course, JPP's been there for a little bit, but you also have the addition of Ndamukong Suh.
Yay!
You know, from a receiver standpoint, and in the running game, I think Andre Ellington. I know a lot of people are talking about.
That's what I was getting ready to go to next.
Between Ronald Jones and Peyton Barber, but I believe the fact that they're improved defensively. They are going to fly under the radar, but they will surprise some teams.
The only way that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers surprise any team this season, Jameis has got to learn how to hit a bull in the backside with a shovel. Okay? Okay. All right. And I'm not comparing the two, but Brother Rich, you can weigh in on this if you want to. What's the one thing?
Well, I do want to weigh in on that.
Hold on. Let me.
What's the one thing, sir?
Yeah. What's the one thing that you saw about Baker Mayfield right out the gate that you like? He get the ball to him on time when it's supposed to be on time.
Right.
Okay.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing that I want to say about this whole. Initially, I liked Jameis Winston, but here's what's up now. You got to keep it 100. And if we're going to use the language of keeping it 100, we got to keep it 100 every time. And so what we have to look at and say, I agree that he has the potential. He had the potential, but this is the NFL. You don't have a long time to get it right. And so what we can see about this young man is we got to start questioning whether or not he has the discipline to get it right. And
there
so
you go.
What Double J is telling us, look out for Byron Leftwich, because if he either he gets it right because this guy is breathing over his shoulder, or this guy comes in and gets it right because he got the potential and he needs a shot. And like Gully is telling us before he got hurt, he had some game with him. Whether we want to say he had some nice skill with him.
Yeah, so, I don't deny that. I like Byron Leftwich. I did.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm concerned whether or not Jameis has the discipline. Here's what I'm saying now, and here's why I'm saying that, Jay, because he don't just get caught doing stuff. The kind of things he get caught doing.
Yeah,
and
I know. They're head scratchers.
This undisciplined kind of guy that don't believe I gotta practice. The kind of things you're describing that I ain't gotta take it this seriously. No, you absolutely do.
Yes,
if you hope
you
to
do.
Be who you think you are.
Yes, you do. Especially if you're gonna be high level. It's one thing to be a Jeff Hostetler. But they was looking at you to be, I ain't saying a Tom Brady, but I'm talking about you. They was looking at him. You got to be up there. So it's tiers, right? Am I right, Double J, when it comes to the quarterbacks, NFL quarterbacks? You see how many times you see it on Facebook? You see what I'm saying? They say this tier and then A group, B group, C group. So Jameis at one point was considered or looked at to be the guy who was at least in the B group, if not the A group in some circles. You get what I'm saying? He's not even in the F group right now, Gully. As in L, as in Leftwich. I'm just saying, I like Byron Leftwich. I really did. I'm going to quit picking with y'all because I know that when the Browns win the Super Bowl, then, somebody's controller going to catch on fire because they're going to be playing Madden. And anybody got Madden 20, by the way?
No, I didn't. I stopped playing Madden a long time ago, but I watched from afar the real game.
Yeah, well, they're saying that Madden 20, matter of fact, the reviews I'm hearing is sounding so off the chain that I might go get it myself. You know what I mean? Yeah, I might go get it myself. Oh, we got a caller here. Gully, you want to get that, or you want me to get that? How you want to do this? Look like it's a Michigan number. Double J might be somebody you know. I hope they calling and give you the business. That's what I hope that they're doing. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, man, I'm not against Jameis, whatever it is. What I'm saying is, this ain't Florida State, man. You know, and how many times have we said, you know, especially playing that position, you know, you look across the way at the defense, and you got to say to yourself, okay, it might be one or two guys that might be NFL caliber. You get what I'm saying? But at the NFL, all 11 guys on the other side, man, they all meant to be there. And you have got to, at that position.
And they all got a problem with you.
That's what
every one of them.
Every one of them.
Yeah,
that's every one of them. You know, and can you make the reads, you know, on the fly, you know, and make the right reads at the time? We got Kalen from Flint calling in. Let's get him in here before we get out here in this last hour.
The NFL thing.
Yep. Go ahead, Kalen. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's a number of topics going on right now, but one thing that I think a lot of people kind of sweeping over about the NFL and Jay-Z issue is that Jermaine Dupri was actually offered a similar deal that Jay-Z ended up taking.
Yeah, we didn't even mention that, man. I'm glad you pointed that out, man. So I wish you'd have called earlier, man. We only got about like 20-something odd minutes left to go here, but that is a very, very good point. Brother Rich, you want to touch on that right quick?
Well, absolutely. And Jermaine Dupri was called Funk Master Flex, said the New York DJ, the popular New York DJ, said on his radio station in New York, that he spoke to Jermaine Dupri by telephone, and Jermaine Dupri confirmed that, in fact, he was offered the exact same, or some reports are saying similar, but he's saying, according to him, and we can only go by his word,
right,
the exact same deal. And then Jay told him, hold up, don't take that. And then he finds out, this is why I'm saying initially with the conversation, Jay owed them at least a phone call in the name of saying, let's not have a divide and conquer situation. Let me pick up the phone and call Jermaine Dupri. Let me pick up the phone and call Cap. And let me at least call him to a meeting and say, either we all do this together, or I'm telling y'all I'm doing this, and y'all don't like it, but at least I want y'all to know, fellas, I'm doing this. So when y'all slam me in the media, at least I already know, and we all on the same page. That's what I'm saying. Right. He owes him that.
Yeah. Kalen, I appreciate you, man. We're going to start going live more often. I see that's what we're going to have to do, man, because this, to me, you know, we've been a little long in the tooth here, and we got to get ready to roll up out of here. But I really enjoyed this one today. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's points was on fire. I appreciate you calling in and bringing in that point when we talked about it for 3,000 hours, and none of us we didn't think to mention that, man. So everybody's input is valuable on this program and this platform right here that is the Shop Report. I just want everybody to know. My man RB especially, and anybody that calls in or didn't call in, or anybody that's listening who couldn't call in, I just want you all to know that it's all love here. You see what I'm saying? But that's what the barbershop is, okay? And that's why we put this thing together, because, you know, people from all walks, the barbershop is a cornerstone of every community. But we didn't just put together the barbershop and the Shop Report and Shop Talk just so we could say, oh, they doing a talk show from the shop. No, we taking what we do at the shop and we bringing it to you and all the other folks out there who don't get a chance to go to the shop or go to the kind of shop that we go to. Did that make any sense? I hope it did. You know what I mean?
It makes a lot of sense. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you for calling in, man. So if you're still listening, you know, we got to get ready to get out of here. But if you're still listening, I'm going to mention, you know, where you can reach us at. If you got an Android phone, you can go to Google Play Store. You download the Spreaker Podcast Radio app or whatever, and you enable notifications through your Google or Facebook or Twitter or even your email or whatnot. And then if you got an iPhone, you hit your little icon, your little purple icon. I'm not an iPhone user or iPad user, whatever it is, and you can type in the Shop Report and you can follow us there. But again, to my man Kalen, we appreciate you. Everybody's input is valuable here. You see what I'm saying? I'm glad that he called in and he mentioned that, because we did not, and that's why we need people like Kalen and everybody else to call in. Last thing I want to mention on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before we get out of here. Well, I won't even mention on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But, you know, we'd already said enough about Jameis. You know, he need to get it together. And, again, if Bruce Arians, and as my man Gully mentioned, Byron Leftwich, the combined forces of, you know, because Bruce Arians and Leftwich, now in that case, they like the Wonder Twin Powers. Wonder Twin Powers activate Jameis Winston. If he don't turn in the shape of an NFL quarterback, it's over. It's over. I shouldn't have to sing that. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to get some bells and whistles up in here real soon. Last thing I want to say, I'm going to you, Brother Rich. Who wins the division? We already know who I think going to win the division, this NFC South. Who wins the division?
Well, I have to agree with you on this one. I have to go with New Orleans.
I know it's like pulling teeth agreeing with me. You know, I know it is. I could tell you like you was almost at the dentist appointment with no Novocaine. But it's all to the G.O. Double J, who win the division?
But I still have to keep it 100.
Yeah, and like me, I keep it 101. Double J, who wins this division?
Oh, I got to rep my man from my alma mater, Purdue, and so I'm going with Drew Brees.
Oh, see, you see how slick Double J pulled that off. He didn't want to agree with me. He gonna throw in his plug, his Drew Brees move. You know he was dead wrong. I'm gonna call Drew and tell him how you acting on this program right now. Gully, who win the division?
Without a doubt, it's those Saints.
Okay, now we talking about unprecedented. We think Jay-Z getting NFL ownership. All of us agree in agreement? Oh, that's bigger than this whole NFL ownership, if you ask me. Yeah, because that never happens. All right, fellas, I appreciate y'all as always. And on that note, it's been fun, but we got to run. Appreciate my callers, RB and Kalen, dropping out that knowledge that they got on the other side that we didn't cover. What did I say? Is on that note, it's been fun, but we got to run. We appreciate y'all for listening. Okay, yeah. Don't forget to check us out right here on the Spreaker.com network. You go to the search box and you type in the Shop Report. Or you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. Where else we at on go? Oh, Facebook. You can check out our Facebook's fan page. If you want to leave a message, let us know. Any topics or anything y'all think we should discuss, please, by all means. Or you can contact us via email, theshopreport365@gmail.com. And if none of the other stuff work, because I'm sure I done forgot something. Oh, we got a YouTube channel too. Sorry about that. At the Shop Report. And if none of the other stuff work, please make sure you Google it. For my guests, my man from the NYC, a.k.a. Rucker Park, Brother Rich. My man over up on the north side of town, you understand what I'm saying? Joey James, a.k.a. Double J. And last but not least, my man from the bus, D. Gully. And all those who follow us on social media. And we say thank you for your support. I'm Barbershop J, and you've been listening to the Shop Report. And remember, the next time y'all want to know what's really going on, man, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome. Holla!